coming from different places in life. We all have different stories. We all have different backgrounds. We all have different struggles. But we're all here for a reason. And something inside of all of us causes us to keep pushing forward. It caused us to find this industry. And I think the same thing that's in you that caused you to find real estate and put yourself in a position where you can learn what you've learned so far, that same thing, if you allow it, will push you to the next stage to get the wins that you haven't gotten yet. And it's all about progression and making those steps. I want to help people on that journey. That's my passion, right? My passion is helping people win and accomplish goals. And here's what I would say. Most of us feel like we're on a journey. Let me ask you guys this as a question, and then we'll get started. How many of us, be honest, how many of you guys here, we got a lot of people in here. How many of you guys can honestly say me in the chat, that you made a decision that you wanted to succeed or do something new, something that made you go into real estate, and you feel like you've made progress, but you feel like there's just something blocking you from that next step? Say me in the chat. Like, how many of you guys can honestly say that qualifies for you? Like, you feel like you're making progress, but just something's there that's blocking you from the next step. Quite a few people, probably all of us, right? Like, I would be surprised if every single one of us didn't do that. The question isn't, is something holding us back from getting the wins that we want? Because I would argue that probably almost every single person on this planet, if not every person on this planet, falls into the category of somebody that says, I'm close, but I'm not hitting all the goals that I want. So the question isn't, are we having things that we're not succeeding at? The question is, how do we push past that? What is it that's stopping us? And that's my goal. My goal is to help us figure out what that is and push past it. When it comes to having conversations with sellers, that actually becomes a lot simpler, because there's a lot of internal things, habits, right? I mean, we want to stop eating all the cakes and cookies, but we can't. We want to go to the gym, but we don't. We want to start doing, right? We got habits all day long we could talk about that are holding us back. But what about just in simple stuff, simple conversations? Even if we don't get that deep, we're just talking about what are we saying wrong on the phone? What is it about our tone, right? Gianmarco just had a call. For all intents and purposes, anybody who listened to that call would hear that call and be like, yeah, that sounded like a decent call. But my question was, what progress did you make? What can we change in the conversation to differentiate ourselves? That's what we're going to be doing. That's what we're going to be focused on. Really excited that you guys are here. Let's get the ball rolling. That being said, here's a question. We can get straight into pitch battles and start that right away. However, I do have one or two seller calls that I wanted to make for some of the students. Would you guys be interested in hearing a couple seller calls, actual real ones, before we get into that? All right. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree with Caroline, who just blurted out here quite aggressively. I'm here for it. All right, bet. Let's do it. That's a lot of ones. All right, bet. Eddie, you want to call your boy?
Yep.
Okay, and then Rodolfo, if we call Jamarco's probate lead, you down to lend some pointers, Pumpkin?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, bet. Let's see. I don't even know where Jamarco is. I don't even see his face. He's in here somewhere, I'm assuming. All right, let's do it. Okay, Pumpkin? Exactly. You know we're close if I call you Pumpkin. If I don't call you Pumpkin, I don't know. I don't know what to say about. I don't know what to say about the status of our relationship. All right, Eddie, shoot me on WhatsApp. Shoot me the info, and we'll give this guy a call.
Okay.
It's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be fun. Who all here is actively working on deals that they're like, say me in the chat if you're actively calling sellers, you're actively working deals. I want to know who's actually talking to people, talking to the peeps. Jalen, oh, everybody. Very nice. Very nice. How many of you guys? All right, I said say me. So put a 2. You closing one on Friday? Rodolfo, how many deals are you up to at this point, bro? You're at least up to like 1 or 2 a week, no?
No, I wish. I'm closing one. I'm closing one on Friday,
Okay.
and then I closed on the one that I took down last Friday, and I
Okay.
already got offers for that one. Close to asking, so we're just waiting.
And are these all probates?
One was a referral, and the other one is a probate.
Very nice. Imagine, look at you just got here getting referrals, bro. Talk to us how'd the referral happen?
I built a relationship with the property manager. I don't know if they're a hedge fund, but they have like a $500 million portfolio here in Miami. And I closed 2 deals with them and built a relationship with the property manager. The property manager one day called me out of the blue, just put me on the spot with the CFO, and we came to an agreement that if we work together, then they can feed me the property. So I've been working with them for a couple of months already. So that one is going to be one of those.
I like it. Okay. Sorry, let me respond to this message. Rodolfo, you gonna be around for a bit? I'm trying to decide if I should call the probate one first or call Eddie's first and then the probate one.
Yeah, I'm gonna be here.
Okay, bet.
Probably
All right.
making
So
calls, but yeah, I'll be here.
I'll call Eddie's first. Give me 1 second, guys. Appreciate you, lady. Copy.
Boop.
All right. Actually, let's do this. Eddie, I'm gonna call the probate one real quick, just in case Rodolfo ends up having to jump on a call, and then we'll call your guy real quick. Copy.
Right. You gotta say through the legs.
Your call has been forwarded. Your call has been forwarded.
All right, go ahead with one more.
Your call has been.
All right, let's move to Eddie's. All right, let's call him. Hillsborough is the pre-foreclosure one, right, Eddie?
Right.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic.
Nobody wants to answer the phone, yo. In case any of you guys wonder, you guys like get out there and you guys spend an hour and nobody's ever answering the phone. That happens. It happens to everybody. It's a thing. TJ, what's up, big dog? Long time no see, bro. If you guys were able to see the Closers Octagon remotely, it was largely due to TJ's existence. Because that thing was a lot, and he made it work. He made it all happen. Nobody's answering, bro. All right, Al, I'm gonna call your PPO if this guy doesn't answer right now. Pace, Florida.
Your call has been forwarded.
All right, I'm calling Sam. I appreciate the location, dog.
Your cell phone, Sam Jones. Later on the phone.
One in the chat if you've ever just dialed a bunch of phone numbers and nobody answered, and then you started feeling like there was something wrong with you. Anybody ever had this happen? Good. Now you guys know you're not alone. It happens to everybody.
Your cell phone, Sam.
Should I call him? The worst part is it comes in waves because you'll get the one days where it's just like everybody seems to answer and you can't get back to anybody because you're just too tied up. And then it's just like days will go by and you just can't get anybody on the phone.
Hello?
Hey, Sam, my name is Daniel. Following up, looks like you put an inquiry on my website about possibly selling that property out there on Ashmore. Does that ring a bell?
I can't hear you.
You can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm following up because it looks like you put a request on my website about selling your property on Ashmore. Does that ring a bell?
No, I've never put it. I've checked out some sites to see what they offer. I've never put anything on officially.
I gotcha. That's probably what it was. Sometimes they ask for information and sometimes you just don't know what you're clicking. But it sounds like maybe you've dabbled with the idea of selling the property, right?
Possibly.
Okay.
But we've got local people we're going to deal with.
When you say local people that are going to buy it from you directly?
Well, the people in our area in Northwest Florida.
No. I understand that.
Out of town.
So you want to sell it to somebody locally?
Well, we're going to deal with our local realtor that helped us buy the house in the first place.
Gotcha. Okay. So you're not necessarily looking to sell to somebody directly like a cash buyer. You want to list it on the market. You just went to those websites to see what kind of price they would be offering.
Yeah. Well, I just saw what they were asking and I didn't go any further. I just come out. But usually they lowball you.
Sure.
90% of the time people lowball you and they don't want to give you what it's worth. So,
of course.
You know, I've got in mind what I'm going to list it for, and I'm not going to take much below that. You know, I may have to take a little bit of lower offer, but I'm not going to take anything ridiculously low like some of them people offer.
Of course not. No, I totally understand that. Let me ask you this out of curiosity. Let's say someone was able to pay you what you wanted for the house and you didn't go through the agent. Would you be open to that? Or would you definitely want to have an agent involved?
It would depend on the situation, you know, whatever the guidelines are, you know, whatever the particulars are, because I know every one of them say the same thing, but they're all different.
Sure. Okay. Well, then how about you just shoot me straight? What you said you had a ballpark. Where are you thinking you want to be? How much would you like to sell it for?
I'm not 100% sure. We're still waiting on our realtor to come over and talk to us. We're getting our information from our realtor and helped us And, as soon as she comes up with a figure, we're gonna talk serious about it.
Okay.
And we're not gonna do anything like the first of the year anyway, because my wife and I are retired, we're having health issues, and we're going, a lot of doctor's expenses we're going through right now, doctor visits,
Sure.
surgery, stuff like that we're having to deal with, and we're waiting to go back to the first of the year.
Okay.
Do anything.
That makes sense. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Health problems are never fun. I have some family friends that are in the Pace Milton area, so I'm a little bit familiar with that market. If you want to go through an agent and that's kind of what you have your heart set on, I think that's the best option. I would just say be aware that there are other ways to sell a property that are a little bit less hassle. You know, it's a simpler transaction. No agent commissions, but it's also a little bit different than going with an agent. So I would simply say, if you want to go with an agent, you know, I wish you the best of luck. If you're interested in seeing what alternatives exist that may be a little simpler for you, you're welcome to save my number and reach out. Even if I don't buy your house, I'm happy to give you any pointers I can to make sure that the process goes well for you guys.
Yeah. When somebody calls me back 2 or 3 times, I'll figure they're won't ask me a question.
Sure.
There's no reason I answer.
The way I see it is, if we're not doing our job aggressively, we're not doing it at all.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
that being said,
Appreciate it.
Sam, I appreciate you. Best of luck to you. All right. Well, there we go. That was what we would call not a warm lead. Al, I don't know where you got that one. I would get a refund, dog. Get a refund. Okay. Before we move forward, your guys ready? Eddie? Ready, Eddie?
Yeah, I just got off the phone with him.
Oh, wait, hold on. I have you muted. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just got off the phone with him. He's ready for your call.
Okay, perfect. I will call him now. Let's see. All right, guys, we're going to do this one last seller call. Unless anybody calls back, we're going to get the party started.
Your call has been forwarded. Voice.
Is this what ready sounds like, Eddie?
Walks around with one shoe on, right? Give him a second to get to the
Was he actually just walking around the whole house like that? Or did you just catch him
Yeah.
like oh, that's interesting. Absolutely not, young lady. Absolutely not. Open for everybody. As long as you're a good person. Look at Johnny.
Hi, Bobby.
Hey, Rob, how's everything? This is Daniel. Eddie told me that you were expecting my call.
Okay, Daniel. Yeah, I haven't met you, but it's nice to meet you on the phone.
Nice to meet you as well. So it sounds like you've been on a bit of a roller coaster ride with these houses. Eddie's been involved. He brought me in because he thinks that there's some things that we can do here. Just a matter of getting the ducks in a row, getting it across the finish line. Does that sound right?
Yeah, you're right. You know, I've just been getting tired of it. But anyway, yeah, I don't want to be taken advantage of. I mean, I've been in business a long time. I don't like having them come in and say, "Well, it's we're $5,000 kid. Go buy candy for," you know, and not even like that, but I mean that's kind of stuff. So anyway, yeah. So what's up?
Sure. No, I get that. I mean, nobody wants to get taken advantage of, right? So let's see what we can do to help. So from what I understand, you have a couple of properties. One of them is currently in pre-foreclosure. So you're looking to see what you can do about stopping that. And then it sounds like you may be open to selling the rest of them as well. Is that accurate or no?
Yeah, it's kind of, yeah. I
Okay.
know for a tax conflict or so. But anyway, yeah, you
Okay.
gotta be a keeper.
So if there was a scenario where we could buy all of the properties, get it out from under you, make sure that that's all done before the pre-foreclosure takes place, you're able to walk away free and clear. That's something you're open to doing if we can put that deal together. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I'm undoubtedly want to do that, but anyway, so, yeah, sure.
Okay.
Especially with tax liabilities that I don't have to worry about, you know, so
Sure, that makes sense. And obviously we'd have to factor in the tax stuff as well. Off the top of your head, did you know kind of where you wanted to be with your numbers on
No,
any of these properties, or was
No,
it just okay? That makes sense.
Okay.
So you just want to walk away and just be free and clear of this thing and just kind of move on with your life, is what it sounds like.
Well, that's simple, but yeah, it's something, ideally, that's right. But that's not possible, nobody just wakes up in the morning and go break to heaven, it's a little bit of how to get there, so. But I just know that anybody saying, something is too good to be true, probably isn't true.
That's true, right? If something's too good to be true, it may not be. There's definitely truth to that. The one thing that
Okay.
makes that unique about the real estate industry is with the real estate industry, if something sounds too good to be true, it may just be that you haven't heard of it before. Because if you're skilled in this industry, you can solve a lot of problems that other people weren't able to solve. That's where we specialize. Our focus is to try to figure out how can we do what other people couldn't, so we can solve what they weren't able to. So you don't have to keep sitting here wondering if you're going to lose your house and get a knock on the door from the sheriff. Does that make sense? And that's kind of where we specialize. So if we were to do business together, I need you to know that's going to be my intent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I definitely would be at least, one bite at a time, eat the whole elephant.
Yeah, no, you're gonna get some indigestion if you try to eat the whole elephant at once. And to that point, speaking of that, right, you make a good point. When you look at your current property, the Hillsborough property, with the arrears that you have on that, the principal balance, that alone might be tough, right? There may be a situation where we could just take that over and then manage it on the back end and let you walk away free and clear, and we just cover the debt for that. But making a lot of profit on that, it doesn't seem like it seems like there's negative equity there, which I'm sure you've heard, correct? Okay. So this is where some of the other properties become valuable, because if you have equity in those other properties and we end up doing a bulk deal where we were to able maybe buy multiple of them from you, maybe buy them all from you, we're able to take some of the equity from the ones that have it and transfer it to the ones that don't. And that way you're able to walk away from this thing. And this is kind of how we would structure that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So my job is going to be to see how much equity exists on all of these properties to kind of see what we can do to kind of get you to walk away free and clear. Here's my question. I'm going to run these numbers today, go through this entire process. I'm going to get all of my ducks in a row. Let me ask you this. Let's say hypothetically, I call you back this afternoon and I have an offer that allows you to walk away free and clear. Are you in a position where you're ready to sign that agreement today, or is there something more you would need to think about?
Yeah. Okay, well, yeah, that's very thoughtful. I don't know if you can make that happen, but if you can, I'd certainly like to think about it. There's some tax consequences that need to be realized. I don't think probably I can figure all that out, but let me call you back. I'm just looking too right now.
No, don't worry about it. Let me do this. I don't have an offer for you right this minute, right? So I don't want you to feel pressured. I just want to make sure that if I'm going to put the work into putting an offer together for you, that you're ready to move forward. Some people aren't.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's what I want to make sure.
One step at a time if necessary, but yeah. What's your first name again? Daryl?
It's Daniel. It's Daniel.
Daniel. Okay.
Yeah. Daniel.
The name of my favorite code enforcement officer in our area.
Oh, I love it.
That's interesting, and he's a very nice guy, actually.
I think maybe it's just something we all have in common.
Oh yeah, it's a very neat name too, Damon. That's cool. Okay, Damon, let me get back to you. I have people who I need to talk, and I'll close and build and see what you got, and where you can go, and I'll tell you the numbers you need to know.
Okay. We'll put it together. We'll run some numbers for you. I appreciate you. We will chat soon.
Thank you, Damon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Oh.
Should I just own Damon? Should I just take it as a secondary name? At this point, it doesn't make sense for me to even change it. I'm just going to go by Damon for the remainder of this contract.
like in the Omen? Like you had the lady blessing you earlier, and now you're Damon, like the Omen.
No, but
Okay.
isn't it Damien from the Omen?
Oh, maybe you're right. Yes, I think it
Yeah,
is.
so that's a little different. That's it. Al got it. It's Damon, bro, not Damien. Damien's a whole different thing. Eddie, I get what you're saying, man, right? Like, she did not pick up though. Hey, Gianmarco, say that better, bro. I don't understand. You're saying she's available now?
Well, the phone is on. That's all I'm saying. I've been trying to reach her.
So she's not answering you either?
She's not.
It was on. It was on when but it rang.
I rang. Okay. So that's
Yeah, we're good. So Eddie, I get what you're saying about this guy being aloof. This guy is a lot, right? He's just one of these guys you can't really have. This is something you got to learn how to kind of ride the waves of people. You know what I mean? Because this is a situation where you can do all the right things and it still goes wrong because you're factoring in the person, and the person is kind of all over the place, right? And so it's just I know, right? It's just a little bit different, right? It's funny. Have you guys, whoever here, this is going to be something that a lot of you guys won't know. Do you want an appointment for tomorrow? Yeah, I think we're good to go. We can schedule it. Ask her what else she has for today. Can I have a sip of that too? Sorry, guys. We're trying to schedule a deal to get signed today for a deed. Yeah, see what else she has today. I think we'll be good to go. Yeah. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that here in a second. Let me text her sister, and then we'll send that over to you. So how many of you got, who knows who the Wu-Tang Clan is? Rodolfo, I appreciate you, bro. All right, shout out to all the people who know who the Wu-Tang Clan is. I don't know if you guys know this. Wu-Tang Clan has a series on Hulu, which is like a whole story. It's like a series about their story. If you're into hip-hop, highly recommend it. Super, super cool series. In any case, there's this person that was a part of the Wu-Tang Clan called Old Dirty Bastard. If you know anything about him, dude was a complete psychopath, right? Like, dude was all over the place. Fun fact, I was actually in the military with his brother. We thought the guy was lying. We really thought he was lying because he was like the nicest, quietest church guy on the planet. And he was just a super nice dude. And he was like, yeah, that's my brother. And he was just, just New York guy, whatever. And we all thought he was lying. It's just nobody believed him because this was like in the 90s, early 2000s. So this is when he was like, ODB was still real big. And he showed us a bunch of family pictures. So, any case, why am I saying this? In the series, there's a point where Old Dirty Bastard's like manager, if you will, is trying to get him to sign a deal to do a song with Mariah Carey. For all intents and purposes, it's gonna make sense. I promise the reason I'm telling the story. For all intents and purposes, like he was like, bro, you've been in love with this girl since you were a kid. Like you're a huge fan. It's Mariah Carey, and I finally got you an agreement to do the song, to do a song with her. And he goes from excited to, I'm good, not my thing, and then just walks away. Well, his manager already committed because he knew he was going to be in. And now he's got to solve this problem, and it's a whole mess. But what's the point? Why am I bringing this up? ODB was an erratic dude. You can't use rationale with erratic people because they're all over the place by nature. Does that mean they're bad people? Not necessarily. But it just means that when we do this job, you have to come up with the right way to do it. The problem with the right way is what's right changes depending on who you're talking to. But nobody wants to talk about that. Everybody thinks that if you just learn this one right way, it's going to work. And there is truth to that. But anybody who's ever dealt with human beings knows that's not universally true because everybody's different and everybody can change. So what do? Do you just risk losing these people because you're going to do it this one way that you learn how to do and then that's it? You can. And you just, at that point, you just accept I'm going to lose X percentage of deals because I'm only good at dealing with people who are like me. Or you learn how to be flexible and you learn how to navigate the waters of human interaction and say, all right, even though this is how I would normally do it, how do I switch this up? Eddie, this is what we assume based on your description of this guy. I assume this is how the conversation would go. Notice how I'm like, here's all the things, and then I had to back all the way up. Exactly. PD, Johnny Blaze. I had to back all the way up. It's like, yeah, don't worry about it. Don't want to pressure you. I just want to put this together. Here's the thing. We can go and put all the numbers together, and this guy still might not like it. This is the type of guy you offer the same offer 5 times. He tells you no 4, and then he says yes once. And then you got to sign it super quick because you just don't know, right? Because now, obviously, you want to make sure they're of sound mind, so we're doing this the right way. You said you've already confirmed that this part's safe. We've gone through that part. So at this point, it's just a personality thing. And so we just got to navigate these personality things, or you just stay away from doing business with people that are uncommon or different than you. I would rather just figure out how to navigate it. So is Matt here? Matt, you here, Pumpkin? Who here would see value in us underwriting a couple of these properties? Anybody? Let me know. I don't have to do this. We can, like, I don't want to.
Yo.
Yes. Would love for Matt to underwrite. Can he underwrite California?
Caroline, it's not about you, bro. Like, what are you doing? Isn't it?
Can he underwrite Nevada? I'm just
He
throwing
can
out
underwrite
a state.
anything. He can underwrite Saskatchewan. I've seen him do it. That last part's not true, but I'm sure he could. This is also in California, so there we go.
Cool.
Matt, do you think we can trust all the people in here to not try to do something with these addresses? You think? I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Eddie, actually, you already underwrote these. No, Matt? Do you by chance have the history of that form saved?
What's this for?
This is for Eddie's portfolio deal, the 4 properties.
Eddie's portfolio.
Remember?
Probably
and
not.
There are 2 on the same street.
Yeah,
One's in pre-foreclosure, and then the other one's something else.
I do remember doing those. I don't think I have them saved.
Well, what are you even doing with your life, bro? You're like the world's best underwriter. The world's best underwriter would have this saved.
Yeah.
Also, if you guys need help with underwriting, definitely reach out to Matt Fry. This guy is a G. So, Matt, what do you want to do? You want to just do it again? Or do you want to do a quick
Space to leave a
refresher?
To send a message.
Yeah, I can probably just I can probably look at it again real quick and figure out what we had for them.
All right, let's do it. And then we can always call this guy back. I wouldn't call him right away, Eddie. This is a guy, I want to give him some space. I don't want him to feel too pressured. So we'll give him some space, but at least we can underwrite these deals. So let's understand what's happening, guys. So he's got 4 properties. How many already got foreclosed on?
He started off with 6. 2 have already been foreclosed on and are bank owned.
Okay, so he's got he had 6 properties, 2 got foreclosed on. He's got 4 left. One of them is in pre-foreclosure. 2 of them were tenant occupied, and then he kicked them out, did he not?
Correct. He's in the eviction process for 1.
Have they not been paying?
No.
Okay, then that would make sense. So he's kicked them out. So what do we have, guys? This is a situation where this, it's not that complicated, but when you're nervous and you're having conversations with people and you're trying to figure out what you're supposed to say next, it can be easy. It can be difficult to think outside of the box sometimes and just find the solution that's right in our face. So his pre-foreclosure deal may not work. It may not. I don't know who this is. Can you answer that? Don't worry about it. His pre-foreclosure deal might not work. Why? Because he doesn't have enough equity. The deal doesn't really pencil. So if we're going to do that deal, how do we do it? 1, we got to find out a creative way to solve that problem, or we just see if there's equity in the other deals. I believe there are equity in the other deals. So in these situations, if you happen to run across a tenant that has multiple properties, one of which is in pre-foreclosure, then the first question I would be asking is, why is this in pre-foreclosure? If this one's in pre-foreclosure, is it likely that more or the other ones end up coming into pre-foreclosure, right? And the chances are it's possible, right? It's possible that those go into pre-foreclosure. So now we have a solution that we can solve. And if there's equity in those things, just transfer that equity over, right? You'll be surprised when people have deals like this, how easy it is to negotiate the deals. Sometimes it's a lot easier. In my experience, I've done this a couple of times. In my experience, it's easier actually to negotiate deals like this than it is single deals sometimes, because it becomes too daunting for them, too overwhelming for them to think about all of these different properties and all the problems that it can turn into. So if you're able to find a simple solution for it, it ends up working out a little bit easier. So that's the plan. All right. I think Matt's just underwriting this privately. Okay, let's let him do that. We'll talk about it afterwards. Once he underwrites it, we'll go over some of those numbers. And then we'll decide when we want to call this guy back. Jamarco, if you hear from this other person, let me know. Okay, if this lady calls you back, message me.
Yeah, I'm actually calling her from different numbers to see, but it looks like it's off. It's only 2 rings and then the phone is off, so she might be working.
Okay. Yeah, it's possible. Calling her 746 times may not help though. Just a fun fact. You could do it though. I mean, what do you got to lose? Okay. Before we get into the pitch battles portion of things, does anybody have a deal that they want just real quick help with? While we're here, why not? Anybody have a quick deal that they're struggling with, they need help with? Anything like that? No? Going once, going twice? Final shot? Okay. All right. Let's get the party started. Shout out to everybody that's here, that joined. Quick summary for everybody who was not here earlier. I'm really, really excited for this week. A lot of you guys, some of you guys may know, some of you guys may not know. I started a sales coaching community a number of months back, and it's been really, really interesting, right? Like my goal is to build something different. Any of you guys who know, I take a different approach towards sales and communication than really anybody else out there, because I just think that humans are built differently than scripts. And the question is, how do we solve that problem? And so we've been really doing some special stuff, some amazing stories from people in the community who've done really, really cool things. And I'm looking to grow that. I'm looking to kind of get that out there by doing fun stuff like this to challenge people. So I'm excited about this week. We're going to be doing some fun stuff. My hope is that for all of you guys who are a part of hanging out with us this week, my hope is that I help as many people who as are willing overcome some blocks, some struggles that you guys have, solve some problems, so that way you guys can walk away from this week better equipped to close more deals. It should be that simple. There's a lot of other things that could happen, but my goal is that if you guys participate or pay attention here, that you walk away with some gems that make you more money, right? So for as long as we're here, I'm really, really excited. Obviously, I have the community. I'm meeting with my community an hour beforehand for this week. These are normally what you guys are a part of, would normally be my community calls where we would be doing other things. But I wanted just to invite as many people as possible. And then I also have some big announcements this week about some other products and promotions we're putting out to really help people get better at having conversations and closing deals. So guys, please stay tuned for that. It's going to be fun. Let's get the ball rolling as this deal's getting underwritten. Raise your hand in Zoom, like hand up in the Zoom, like go to the reactions and do raise hand if you want to challenge yourself to get better. Let's see. Who wants to step up to the plate? I see Monzo. Monzo, you raised his human hand, not his digital hand. Jack's up. Let's go. TJ, I'm going to spotlight people since we got a lot of people without cameras on and Zoom does not show it. As spotlight. Let's go. We're going to bring Jack up here, but Jack and Eddie, you guys might have to be some judges for the day, fellas. We definitely bring in Hector. Hector already rubbing his hands together. Hector came to play. You don't rub your hands together like that unless you're about to do some work. That's how I'm about to go in. Hand rubbing that just took place. Hector, what's going on, man?
Nothing much here, just looking for deals.
Let's go. Looking for deals. Introduce yourself, man. Tell us a little about what you're doing, where you're at, what you're looking to accomplish, all the things.
All right, so my name is Hector, of course, and I work with New Capital Investments. I think you know Gio. So Gio Garcia, he's the leader for Sub 2 here in Las Vegas.
Okay.
And right now I'm just, cold calling, looking for deals. I'm usually not put on the spot like this, but yeah, I usually just cold call for him, acquisitions. Okay. Yep.
I like it. Talk to us about the experience. How has it been going for you? How are the cold calls going? Talk to me about that. What's that look like?
So the calls are going pretty good right now. I'm actually, getting 2 properties under contract right now. So we're JVing 2 deals right now for subject 2s. He's teaching me the whole game, like what I should say, what, how to, first contact the people when I call them, introduce myself, and basically how to create some type of curiosity to where I'm able to pitch what I'm looking for, right?
Okay.
But I don't know, like how do you usually like test these like cold call pitch? Like, cause I see the little flyer that you sent on the Gmail.
Mhm.
It says that you're gonna like basically tell us to pitch our stuff, right?
Yep. We're about to show you how, man. We're about to get
Well, let's.
into it right now. And
Well,
since
I
you
want to
had your
see
hand,
it.
you were going. How about we just let you
Yeah,
go first? How about we let you step up to the plate first?
let's do it. I'm ready.
Let's go. All right, this is the energy.
Yeah,
That's how I know Hector's gonna be locking up deals, man. You can't come out with this kind of energy and not close deals.
yeah, man.
All right, let's get this thing going. I'm gonna pull up the scoring sheet. I'm gonna show you guys exactly how this works. All right. Pull this up. Where is the scoring sheet? I know I got too many tabs open. This. All right, here we go. So, access Google Drive. Google Drive. All right. Okay, here we go. So here's how this works. Hector, have you ever seen any of the competitions I've done over the years in the industry? Any of them at all?
I just saw one video with you and Pace. I think it was at I think you guys were like cold calling it for like an hour.
Okay.
You guys set groups up and basically whatever group I guess made the most touches or something like that would win, I guess. Something I'm not too familiar. I didn't watch the whole video.
No, it's all good. That was probably one of Pace's elephant challenge things. This is a little
Okay.
bit different, right? So I've done competitions. I did a big competition earlier this year. It was called the Closers Octagon. And we had like some of the biggest people in the industry were involved. It was super fun. And it all started from what you're about to see today. It started with you guys challenging yourselves to see how good you could be at having conversations with sellers. But before you have the conversations with sellers, I'm a firm believer. So I'll say it like this. My first sales job I got, it was in the 90s. It's not because I'm old. It's just because I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. It was in the 90s. I was selling rainbow vacuum cleaners door to door, right?
Okay.
Joined the military at 17, got out of the military, went back into sales. Kind of been sales business in the 1900s. Yeah, in the 1900s, back when dinosaurs was out here. Dorina, you were not born in 1996. Dorina, you were not born in 96. I think that's probably what year. It was 96 or 98. 97. It was one of those years. So Dorina was 100% in diapers when I had my first sales job. Yeah, that's crazy. I feel so old right now. I appreciate you publicizing that for me, Dorina. That made me feel really, really good. All right. So, anyways, I've been doing this for a little while. Now that I work through my depression, here's the point, bro. I've been doing this for a long time. I've worked in a lot of different industries. I've coached in a lot of different industries. I've trained in a lot of different industries. And what I'll tell you is I've done some really high pressure stuff. You ever seen The Wolf of Wall Street?
Yes, I have.
All right. What he did was selling penny stocks. Now, he did the illegal version of that, but there's a legal version of that.
Right.
That was my first hardcore sales job, like real hardcore sales job doing exactly that, right? Just without the donkeys and the cocaine and all the crazy stuff. But it was still, you got to call stockbrokers and sell them on something they will never in a million years buy. And you're getting hung up on, you're getting cussed out. Every single call is the worst call of your life, right? But when you can go through that, you realize that you can go through anything, right? 100%, Nick, boiler room energy all day long, dog. And like before every single day we would go to work, Hector, I'm gonna tell you why what we're about to do is important. Every single day before we started work in our morning meeting, there's a couple things we did. One, we would walk pink sheets, 100% pink sheets, selling the pink sheets, dog. Number one, we would watch an old hardcore sales clip, right? Glenn Ross, Boiler Room. Have you seen any of these movies?
No, I have not.
Send you the clips just for nostalgia. It may not help you in sales, but we used to have to
Okay.
watch this, right? And then here's another thing we would do. It would be called role playing. I don't care how good you were. You could be making 10 grand a day. You know what you did before you started work that day? You role played. Why? Because Kobe still shot free throws before every game. The best don't stop practicing. The best just practice better. That's what we're doing here. That's what
That's right. Yeah.
That's what the Closers Octagon was and is about. It's about how do we practice better? Because at the end of the day, let's say you role playing all day long and you role playing by yourself. You role playing with a person and neither one of you guys know what you're talking about. Is that helpful?
No, it's not.
No, I would say it is. Why? Because at least
it is. At
right?
least you're
'Cause
doing
at
something.
least-
Okay, I see what
At
you
least
mean.
you're doing something. But here's the thing. If both of you guys are out here doing this with the ball,
Right.
at least you're getting the muscle memory. But guess what? You know what? You're not getting the training on what you could have done better.
Right.
And that's what we're going to do here. Not only are you going to get
Okay.
the reps in, which we want you to do, we want you to get the reps in, but we want to show you what you could have done better. It's not just going to be me. We're going to have my students that are in my primary community who listen to me run my mouth all week long are going to be giving you their feedback from their perspective. And why does perspective matter? Because I don't know everything. Nobody in this industry knows everything. I've been doing this a long time. I'll put myself next to anybody in this country, on this planet when it comes to sales and human communication. I would comfortably, right? And there's going to be things I'm going to learn from them. There's going to be things they're going to learn from me. But do you know why I feel comfortable sitting at that table if that table existed, Hector?
Well, you're gonna learn something.
Well, and also because I'm always willing to learn. I'll learn something from you today. And I'm going to put that in. I'm not above learning. Right? I'm not above investing in education. And if that investment is just my time today to listen to other people, to pick something up. I learned tactics. I've run the nightly dial. We've done in that call, we did tens of thousands of calls, right? I learned from everybody, right? Every opportunity I could, I learned something. And that's what we're going to do today. So what you're going to do today is exactly that. You're going to practice, but you're going to practice like Kobe. You're going to practice in an environment where you're surrounded by the best and you're learning how you can take this away and get better. However, it's not going to be easy, right? Because you're going to get grilled here, bro. So here's how this works. We're going to pick a random topic, right? Random topic, random seller motivation. We are not going to tell you what that motivation is. Kate is going to be the seller. I'm going to message Kate a random motivation. All of the judges are going to get that motivation. So everybody's going to know the motivation but you.
Okay.
And we're going to set a timer for 6 minutes.
That's good.
During that 6 minutes, your job is to gather as much information as possible. Same criteria. So here's the criteria that you're going to be looking for. All right, here we go. So criteria is this. Strength of intro, you're going to be graded. This is going to be a grade out of 5. All right? So you get a 5 on each particular topic, right? So you're going to be graded out of 5 on strength of intro, rapport building, fact finding and uncovering motivation, overcoming objections, and presentation of solutions.
Okay.
There's a bonus one for the strength of close and follow-up. So what does this mean? That means you have to successfully accomplish all of the things on this list, including getting it to a close or a follow-up, but you only have 6 minutes to do it. Does that make sense?
Let's do it.
All right. What's going to happen is I'm going to get all of the motivations together. I'm going to send that over to Kate.
Okay.
You're going to say ring, ring. When you say ring, ring, the timer starts. Rest is up to you. Make sense?
Okay.
All right. So let me get these motivations together. Jack, Eddie, let's see. Y'all, Jack and Eddie, y'all good to be judges? Okay. And then who else? Either Jamarco or Javon. I don't know. Either one of you guys, if you guys are available. Okay. Jamarco respond to first. Javon. Okay, cool. So we can rotate. We can rotate people out. Awesome. Glad that you guys are both available. All right, let me pull up the
Could you clarify what kind of motivations or personality types?
Sorry. I'm pulling this thing up.
It's a little bit of everything. So yeah, it can be any kind. I will be motivated to sell. It's not like, you know, you're like the person has raised their hand for a cold call
Okay.
or has spoken to someone before at this point.
All right. Okay. I'm gonna send them over to you guys now. Hold on. All right, stop the share. Let's get this over. Let's see. Um, all right, Hector, how difficult should we make this, dog? On a 1 to 10, how hard should it be?
Let's do it hard.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's gonna be too tough. Um, okay. Nah, Kate, you know which one I want to do? You guys all know this one too. I'm about to message you, Kate.
Okay.
All right, I think this is the right one. Hector asked for it, so he about to get it. What do you think?
Yeah.
All right. Jack, you still around, bro? All right. Let me know if you guys
Am I gonna be similar or can
do the same thing. Do the same thing. Because I felt like that one brought out a lot, right? Like we had to do that one multiple times because people had a hard time with it. Eddie, let me know if you know which one I'm talking about. You good? Jackie, you good?
Alon could be a judge on this one.
Because he failed miserably. I don't even see his face, so he's way down there. All right, no, Jack's good. Jack's good. Jack, you know this one? Are you good with it?
I love this one.
I bet. All right, so we already know what it is. Hector, you already got the motivations or the scoring criteria. I'm gonna put it in the chat right now.
Okay.
This is an interesting one. Again, when you say ring ring, once Kate answers, the timer starts. You got 6 minutes to hit all of the points. Right? Those are the things you're gonna be getting scored on. You got to read the room.
Sounds good.
Got to do your thing, and then we'll give you some feedback afterwards. Works?
Works. Let's do
All
it.
right, man. Whenever you're ready, just say ring ring.
All right. Ring ring.
Hello.
Hi, Kate. Kate, this is Hector. Before you hang up, would you allow me to call you for 30 seconds and let me allow me to talk to you about something that I got for you?
I believe in fate, so let's go.
All right, let's do this. Okay, so you called me in regards to this I guess service. Let me allow you to to tell you, I mean not to tell you, but why are you looking for this specific service actually?
Are you talking about like how I'm selling my house? Or are you
Yes. Well,
trying to
why
sell
is
solar or something?
yes? No. Why are you selling your? Why would you like to sell your house?
You know, and my advisor said it's time for me to have a change.
It's time to have a change. Okay. So what type of change are you looking for exactly?
It's just I need to sell the house very quickly, and it's my advisor believes it's time for me to do so.
Okay, sounds good then. So I have multiple options, right? But I'm not here to look for a scenario where I'm gonna win. I'm trying to make this a scenario where you and I can both benefit from what, can possibly happen, so we can make things actually work out, right? So in order for you to have that change, are you looking to get like a cash out, or like would you like to possibly, get a cash offer on the property? Like, what can you be more specific?
The most important thing for me right now is to sell very quickly. I need to have it sold by the end of October.
By the end of October. Okay, so that gives us about 9 days from now. So the best option right now, traditionally, is possibly, if the market is right now, right? Which in reality, there's a lot of, not that much demand for properties to like sell. They're not selling quickly due to, the interest rates and all that. But let me allow you to introduce you to one of my ways for you to actually close on the property before that date, right? It's when I'm able to assume the loan from you, right? So let's say your property, you have a remaining balance of 600,000, right? That's a question, right? Another question. Do you have a loan on the property?
I do not. I own it outright. For a variety of reasons, I need to get a cash offer on it and to be able to walk away from, I have to be out of the house. The other occupants will be staying. That'll be up to you to get them cleared out of the property.
Okay. How much is the property worth? Do you know by any chance?
I bought it for 777,000 2 years ago.
777,000. Okay. And for you to walk away, you're looking for that specific number, right?
I would prefer a number with a 7 in it somewhere. My advisor believes that's where we need to be for it.
Okay. All right. So in order for me to, list this property, I'd like to see, of course, what the comparables are. And if you allow me to do some research, I'm able to see, what your property is actually worth. As of right now, I can't specifically say that that's what your property is worth. But if you could allow me, I'd like to, run some more numbers and see what your property is actually worth, right? In order for me to give you a cash offer. Is that fine with you?
Yeah, as long as we're closed before All Hallows Eve, that's just a really important timeline for me. Do you think that's something your company would be able to accomplish?
Yeah, that's something that I'm able to accomplish. So, when would you allow me to, follow up with you? When's a good time for you?
Anytime. I'm available, and yeah, I have a very positive energy coming off of you, so I look forward to hearing more from you.
Okay, sounds good. Then I appreciate, taking this chance and answering my phone call. Well, I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
All right. With a minute and 23 seconds to spare on the clock. Like I jumped out early. All right. Hector, how are you feeling, bro?
Dude, I was nervous, honestly. I haven't done something like this in front of so many people. So, I'm trying to do my best, but I want to hear what you got to say from me.
Now, here's a question, y'all. Let me ask you guys this. Honestly, in the chat, how many of you guys were a little bit confused by the seller's situation, personality, motivation? Say me in the chat if you were a little bit lost or confused or having a hard time keeping up with that. Quite a few people, right? Now, we did this one last week. And the way we did it last week is because nobody could knock it down. We actually had a couple of different people take on the same personality. and the same situation before we scored. So let me ask you guys this. Before we score Hector, is there anybody that thinks they could do a better job at this seller situation? Oh, TJ didn't even let me finish the question. TJ, Peter, and Jalen. All right, bet. Those are the three. Y'all were the first ones up. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. Let me bring you guys up here. Let me see. How do I get y'all up here? So we just need Peter. So let's go move spotlight. Let's get add spotlight. We need one more person. Giovanna, I'm gonna put you down for a second. Remove
If somebody gets
spotlight.
this one, we could run the other one too that people struggled with.
Which one was the one they struggled with? Was it this one or the other one?
Alana's the only one that did this one. It was the other one.
Okay. I thought it was this one.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do this one then. Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. Judges, I need y'all to do kind of like we did with that other one. Write down your notes for Hector and write down your scores. I'm gonna put the motivation in here so that you guys, the motivation's in here so you guys can see the scores. So essentially, y'all got Jalen, you get the same opportunity. Peter, you get the same opportunity, right? Now, that's the things you're going to be scored on. Strength of intro, rapport building, fact finding, uncovering motivation, overcoming objections, presentation of solutions, and then the bonus for strength of close and follow-up. Now, I do not tell the judges how to judge. I do not tell them what to score. I'm not even scoring. Do you guys know why? Jalen, you're unmuted. Guess why? Why do you think I don't influence them?
I'm assuming that you have a different perspective or a different opinion.
Also, that's a big part of it. Here's the other part of it. The other part of it is because every seller's different, right? And you guys, whether you realize it or not, every time you pick up the phone, you're getting graded by a seller. That's just not how anybody's looking at it, but that is what's happening. And so the reason why I'm not influencing what's happening with the judges is because just like real life, you're going to have to get graded based on different perspectives. Sometimes it's going to be fair. Sometimes it's not going to be fair, but it's always going to be what it is. So that's why once they give everything that they give, I'm going to come with a follow-up feedback, tell you what I agreed or disagreed with what they said. You guys will have your score, right? And then you'll know from there. Right now, to be clear, guys, let me reshare this the other day. Like we did this a couple of times last week, and the scores were not great. We had scores in the 30s. The highest possible score is 90. Right? Highest possible score is 90. Let me show it to you guys, just so you guys know what you guys are up against here. Peter, of course, Peter about to be out here. Yeah, I'm just gonna lock up this 90 real quick and move on with my day. Y'all can get back to the light work. Here you go, guys. So this is just so you know, right? This was like, these are the scores, right? When we did the main competition, these were the scores, right? And I've erased a bunch of these. I've done this a bunch of times. I got hundreds of these scores, right? These are just some recent ones that we have, right? It's not always easy, but it does happen, right? This was mine from Friday that I did. Thursday that I did. So I'm glad that I'm consistent with my numbers, but it proves to you that you guys, it is possible to get up there. It is possible to get up there, but you got to earn it, just like every other conversation. So you guys, my question is, where you guys think you're going to land? Are you landing in the 30s? Are you landing in the 80s? I'm shooting for 80s club. I want everybody in here to hit the 80s club, because if you hit an 80s club, you're locking up deals. Just the way it is, just the way that works out. Okay, judges, let me know when you guys are good to go. Jack, you're good to go? You got your notes and your scoring for Hector down? Eddie, you got your notes and your scores for Hector? Because we don't want to forget. By the time we get to the last one, we're going to forget what Hector did. Jamarca, you good? Everybody's good. Okay. TJ, how you feeling, dog?
I'm ready to go.
Let's go. All right. Let me restart this timer. All right. I'm going to take some notes myself for Hector from my feedback. Okay. TJ, you know what it is, man? Kate's gonna be doing the same situation. By the end, you guys may have a little bit of an advantage, right? If you guys are paying attention, that's up to you guys, but an advantage don't help unless you do something with it, right? So you guys got to listen, pick up the cues. Hopefully by the end, you guys are getting better scores because you picked up, but maybe not. Kate's not over here giving layups. You got to earn these. So you say ring, ring. She says hello. Timer starts. Ball's in your court. You with me?
Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hey, is this the owner of 123 Main Street?
It is.
Hey, I'm following up because we got a inquiry from you indicating you're interested in selling your house. Is that still true?
Yes, it is.
Awesome. What is your name again? What would you like me to call you?
My name is Kate.
Hey, Kate. My name is TJ. What can you tell me about your house, your property you're trying to sell?
Well, it's a beautiful historic home and it's north facing. The garden is lovely and it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous restored property that I think the next person's really going to love.
It sounds like a wonderful property. What's got you interested in selling it?
My advisor thinks that after some things that have been happening, it's time for me to sell.
Oh, your advisor. What kind of advisor is this?
A spiritual advisor.
Okay. What was his advice?
That I need to sell as quickly as possible within the by the end of October would be ideal.
Okay. What's significant about the end of October?
I just need to be out of the property by All Hallows Eve.
Okay. What's going on All Hallows Eve?
It's just an important day to me that it's time for me to be out of the property by then.
Okay. Well, what's keeping you from getting rid of it, you think?
I think it's the price point. I paid, significant amount of money a couple years ago for it, and I need to sell it. I'm not opposed to receiving less than I paid for it, but I just need it sold.
Okay. Have you gotten any offers on it?
Yes, offers that are like in the 3s or 4s. That's just not a number that I'm comfortable with at this time.
Okay. I understand that you want to get the maximum value out of your property. Well, I guess do you have an idea of what number you would be happy with?
The number needs to have a 7 in it.
Needs to have a 7 in it. Just 1 7, or the more 7s, the better?
The more 7s, the better, but at least 1 7.
Okay. How about 3 7 7 7 7 7 7 7 7?
No 3s.
Okay. Well, are there any other numbers I need to be avoiding?
5 and 4 are also not acceptable numbers.
Okay. So what about 700 flat? 700,000.
Yes, that would be okay.
Okay.
That would be in the ballpark.
Okay. Well, what could I do, or what would you be looking for to get a deal done today?
Just somebody who can actually follow through and make that happen. I'm getting a lot of these calls and no one's following through with it. The other occupants of the house have also seemed to be a problem for other people.
Okay. Well, tell me about these other occupants. What is the other people's problem with them?
Well, they're uninvited guests, so they need to leave.
Okay. Is this like a tenant issue? Do they have a lease? Tell me about these guests.
They do not have a lease. They used to live here. They do not live here any longer. So they need to be cleared out of the property.
Okay, I'm getting a premonition here. You tell me if I'm correct. Are these guests still living?
No, but they believe that they are.
Okay. All right. So I'm happy we're on the same page. I think this is something we can deal with. We actually have a advisor in our network who handles what does he call them? Apparitions or unwanted guests. So I think we'd be a good match for each other. The issue I'm seeing is, we're 9 days away from All Hallows Eve. How flexible are you on that price point for us to be able to get moved on?
Very flexible, as long as those numbers we discussed are not included. My advisor says that it's really important that those numbers not be included for my end of the year. I mean, Pluto's in retrograde. It's very important to me.
Absolutely. So here's what I'm thinking. if we can close in 9 days and we can get you an offer with all of those numbers, is there anything else you foresee keeping us from closing this deal?
Just as long as you have somebody who's experienced with energy clearing, that's like very important. I'm not able to handle the energy clearing of a property this large.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll factor that into the price, and we'll actually have some sage burning at the closing, just so that the energy's clear on the transfer so it doesn't follow you.
Wonderful. Yes. Yes, that would be amazing.
All right, so let me tell you what, I'm gonna get with my team. We'll put together an offer and we'll have it to you within 77 minutes.
Perfect. Thank you so much, TJ. Your energy is amazing, and I have a very positive feeling about the outcome of this.
Awesome. Look forward to talking to you.
Thanks.
right,
Let's go.
Y'all don't be giving hints in the chat.
Ladies and gentlemen, okay, Yvonne just legit was like, she about to sell you our house, dog. So that was fire. Can we get some fire emojis in the chat for the way TJ handled that call? That was crazy. Got almost 60 people watching you just crush this thing. Very, very cool. All right, so this messes up the whole thing because he uncovered all the stuff. So we can't use this for Peter and Jalen because there's no mystery. But we're gonna keep y'all up here. Kate, we could try the other one.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we'll do that one
was
with
great.
them.
I saw on the last call when I said All Hallows Eve, I saw TJ's reaction. I was like, oh, I think you got it already.
Oh yeah, I got it.
Yeah, you got it.
I'm very energy sensitive, Kate. That's where my benefit comes in.
7 minutes to get this contract ready. Like, I don't really know what better service can you provide at this point. I don't even know.
He's bringing me the sage and everything.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do this. Guys, let's just go straight to the judging, right? We'll do a different one for Jalen and for Peter. We're gonna go straight to the scoring on this one. And let's see how they did. My question is, should we go in order front to back or back to front? That's what I'm trying to think here. All right, let's do TJ since he's fresh. And then we'll circle back to Hector. And then we'll go from there. Where is Jack? You ready? Eddie, you ready? You guys good?
Hold up. I'm finishing up. I'm almost done.
All right, go ahead. Jamarco, you good to go?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Which
So
one
let's
first?
go ahead. Let's go ahead and start with you. Hold on, let me cover this up. And let's go with I'm trying to figure out what order do I want to go. Do I want to do Hector first, or do I want to TJ? Eddie, Jamarco, who do you want to go first? Do you want to do Hector first or TJ first? You did to decide. Then we just gonna go with that order.
Hector. Let's do Hector because it's been
Let's do
waiting.
Hector first. All right, so we're doing Hector first, then we're doing TJ.
Yes. All right, so Hector, strength of intro. Well, I believe it was a little too soft in the intro and a little bit submissive. I'm guilty of charge. I do the same thing, but that's not a strong intro. So for that, to me, is a 1.2.
1.2. All right.
Rapport building, it almost didn't happen. But, he kept her on the phone, so that's good. So I want to say 1.5.
Jamarco is not playing today.
Yeah, I've been judged all morning. Fact finding and uncovering motivation. So she threw multiple hints at him, right? But he didn't catch them at all. It looked like he was almost dodging, which I'm guilty of that as well. So I know what it means. When you have to ask the hard question and you don't, you just try to circle around it. So that's not good. So for that, 1.5. Overcoming overcoming objections. He actually did do that multiple times. Was a little confusing. So for that, 2.5. He did present solutions, right? Even there, I wasn't really sure where he was going with it. But you know, he kept her on the phone and he was overcoming the objection and presenting a solution. So 2.5 on that one as well. Well, and then the end is what I think he did the best. He actually scheduled a follow-up. It made her understand that he has to come back to that, and you know, for that a 4.
Boom. Harsh but fair. Harsh but fair. All right, Eddie, we're gonna take it to you. What are your thoughts on Hector's call?
Cool. Let me start off. Hector, just give me a thumbs up, bro. Are you here to stay? Like, you're gonna come back, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna come back for sure.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna give you my honest feedback, bro. Just base this off of, look, this is your first time role playing, and your next numbers are gonna be way better. First off, you sound very unthreatening on the call. I think that was the biggest thing. So it's just a matter of doing the thing every day and being around people that do it. But strength of intro, I am going to give you a 1. It was long. There was no real reason for your intro. It was just kind of just there. So the 3 things that we base intros off: introduce yourself, the reason why you're calling, and then somehow open-ended question. 2, rapport building. I'm gonna give you a 2 because you sounded very unthreatening and that made her comfortable. For fact finding, motivation, you didn't get to the motivation, bro. You're gonna get better with that. You're just gonna learn to ask different questions. You're gonna learn how to take the calls a different direction. I'm gonna give you a 0 on that. 2, present overcoming objections. You push through pretty much everything. And the objections, the conversation just kept flowing. You kept pushing through everything. So I'm going to give you a solid 3 on pushing through the conversation.
What was it? What did you give for motivation?
0.
All right.
Presentation of solution. You presented something. So I'm going to give you a 2. And I'm going to give you a 4 for setting up a follow-up with 1 minute remaining.
You said 2 for this?
2 for presentation
Gotcha.
of solution, and then 4 for straight to follow-up.
Perfect. Okay, good stuff. Jack, what you got, dog?
All right. So I'm gonna keep it real. That intro, I would have hung up so fast. Like it just sounded too salesy to me. And for me, like I have very low patience, especially when it comes to answering random numbers. So you never once really mentioned why you're calling. You said that you were something about a service. So right away, it's like, oh, this guy's gonna try to sell me something. I would have hung up, but you got through the intro, so I gave you a 1. Rapport, the whole conversation sounded kind of robotic, and it didn't really seem like you were actually connecting with her. However, she did say that she had a good energy. She got some good energy from you, so I gave you a 1.5 just because knowing this type of person, she wouldn't give that for no reason. So 1.5. Fact finding, uncovering motivation. I gave you a 1.5. I'd say the 1.5 was more for finding facts, as in like price. But aside from that, you really didn't uncover much of the actual situation and really none of the true motivation. So I gave you that. Overcoming objections. So this was a tough one because I didn't really see many objections that were clear. I gave you a 1.5 for this one. It just wasn't very, like, it wasn't positioned in a way where you had to actually use a skill to overcome an objection, because you never really got to it. But like, you maintained the phone call, so I think that counts for something. Presentation of solutions. I also gave a 1.5 for this one because when I think of presenting a solution, it's a bit more obvious than just kind of stating, hey, we can do something like this. When you present something, you make it known. You want to, present it to them as something that you can actually do. I feel like you kind of just blurted it out, let the words kind of hang in the air, and hope that she grabbed onto it. So I just don't think it was very strong. Where are we at? Strength of close. I gave you a 1. So for this one, I know they gave you a bit higher scores, but it was almost like I've gotten this quite a few times where I actually just got it today, where somebody called me and they were just robotic on the whole phone call, and they're like, okay, so can I set up a meeting for Tuesday? I was like, yeah, sure. I didn't write it down. I didn't do nothing. And I guarantee, like, during that follow-up, they're just going to have the same energy. So it didn't really captivate me. So I just, yeah, you said a follow-up, but I don't think it was very strong. So I gave you a 1. With all that being said, bro, shout out for you coming in and being the first one to get on this phone call, bro. It's not easy, especially with DQ in your corner, man. It's tough, bro. So shout out to you, man. Good stuff.
Yeah, thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
All right, let's chat a little bit. Honestly, guys, so for those of you guys who heard Hector's call, if you guys heard Hector's call, I want an honest question to you guys. How many of you guys, from where you're at in experience, thought Hector's call was a little better than what he scored? You thought he did pretty good. And then you realize these scores and you're like, oh, shoot, right? Interested. Just say me if you feel comfortable saying it. If not, that's fine. I'm wondering if anybody thought the call was a little bit better than what he got scored. Hector, your opinion, bro. Like, how do you feel about look at Glenn. Glenn disagrees. Interesting. Valena says, here's the thing, right? So let's get into this. Hector, how do you feel about the feedback?
Well, I think the feedback was great. Besides, I like what's his name? Jack said I did kind of just didn't like be more firm about what I presented to like salute for solutions. I kind of just was going along with like, I don't even know what service I'm providing here, right? So I was lost right there when I just didn't know like what she was looking for, and it made me, question a lot, like what am I like, why am I even on this call sometimes, like, but I appreciate that advice from this guy, Jack. Also, I believe that my follow-up wasn't bad. I think it was a solid follow-up. Besides the rest of the things, I got to a point where, she agreed to call me back, and I would have, done a lot more better the next time. Also, what's for report building, yeah, I should have asked a lot more questions. Fact finding and uncovering motivation, I didn't do that well as well. For sure. I mean, I think it's a solid scoring, and for sure I'll look forward to, working on all those what are they called again? Like the scoring sheet.
Yeah, just the different
yeah, just the different
criteria in the call, right?
Yeah,
just
criteria. Yeah.
So
I did it.
I actually agree with a lot of these scoring sheets. Glenn, I don't know if you want to maybe toss it in the chat or something, bro. I don't see you. But I'd love to hear your thoughts of what you disagreed on. Glenn's in my community. So I'd be interested in hearing his perspective. Glenn's out here making calls regularly as well.
Hold on, DQ, 1 sec, dude. Just one sec.
Do you think, bro?
If you can skip me and you can go on someone else.
No, go ahead. So here, score sheet is like seller's brain. Here's the thing, right? This is where I agree with a lot of these things. So Hector, when it comes to, let's talk about your intro. I did not like your intro at all. Now, if you remember, you said something along the lines of, I hope you're not mad at me or something like that. You said something like that, correct?
No, I said, before you hang up on me, would you allow me to, explain what I got to offer for 30 seconds? That's something that I just learned. Like, I literally just started using that like today. It's something where, I'm appreciating the feedback that you guys are going to give me back on this.
So I have an idea why, but before I make any assumptions, talk me through how you got there. What made you jump to using that as your intro?
So usually, you know, I'm calling agents, whether or you know sellers for like real estate, right? So, what I focus on is subject to properties, right? So, I usually go around that way, and I'm not a realtor, so you know, I just say I'm Hector. Would you allow me to, you know, present what I got, right? Allow me to speak for 30 seconds, because I'm not. It's when you speak from agent to not agent, there's like this you know, ego trip where they're like, oh, do you have a realtor? And you know, where I can't say I do it or I don't because it could ruin my whole thing up. So it allows me to say what I gotta say for the first 30 seconds before they even hang up on me.
Okay. Very, very interesting. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. Those of
Right.
you guys who know, who've been around any of the stuff that we've done, we've talked about intros a lot. I got a 2.5 hour training in the community. This is something we spend a lot about. Why? Because it's the most important part of the conversation, right? Because it goes into a lot of things. Let me ask you a question, Hector. And a lot of you guys might know the answer to this because you've heard me say it a million times. I'm going to ask you, Hector. If you don't know the answer, try to guess. If you do know the answer, wait like 10, 15 seconds before you type the answer. Let's see if anybody, no, wait 30 seconds. I want to see if anybody guesses this. Hector, if you had to choose the 2 most important things that you have to bring into every conversation, what would you say they are? 2 most important things you have to bring into every single conversation if you want to succeed.
So first off, I'm pretty sure is you're introducing yourself, who you are, and basically who you're with. Um, that's pretty much it.
So you think introducing who you are and who you're with are those are the 2 most important things that a person needs?
To sound more professional, yes.
Okay. Who agrees with that? 1, if you agree with that, 2, if you disagree with that. We got a bunch of disagrees. Nobody agrees with it, but I'm not hearing any of the disagrees. You can't, if you're in my community, you don't count. All right, Ray, just because you popped up, Ray and Ruel, what would you say? What are your 2 options? Let's hear from you guys. I want to hear what you guys suggest as 2 most important things.
Oh, like in the whole call or for when you first contact
Or when you're
somebody?
bringing, just what you need to bring in into the conversation.
In the whole conversation, yeah, you got to build rapport, of course, and you know, the solutions.
Okay, so now y'all just picking from the chat at this point. You just guessing. It's cool. It's cool. I mean, I would be guessing too. I'd be looking at the chat and trying to guess. Ruel, you want to or Ray, if you guys want to throw your guess out there, I would love to hear it. Okay, Ruel, his purpose is just kind of like, okay, here's what I'm here to accomplish. I got you. Ray, what about you, man?
I think you'd have to find motivation.
Finding motivation. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Any of my students, y'all want to throw the answer in there? Kate got it first. Confidence and control. Peter is right along the same lines. Dorina went, oh. Dorina, you're going to have to say what that was. Not yet. Yeah, no. Galen, no. This is not DJ. No. This is for Hector, bro. I don't know if you heard Hector's call. No, we're not scoring TJ.
Interesting. Okay. Never mind that.
So you met okay.
Dude, I do so many.
Nah, bro, you locking up 15 deals. I get it, man. It's hard to be the guy
dude,
and be on a Zoom call. I got you, man. It's all good. Okay, here's the thing. So here's what it comes down to, Hector. Confidence and control. In my opinion, with confidence and control, you can forget all the other stuff, still close the deal. Without confidence and control, you can know everything about real estate. You can have all of the money in the world. You can have everything that you need to get the deal done. But if they don't believe you, they won't believe you. And none of that other stuff matters, right? Confidence and control. Okay, so let's walk through this. I knew why you switched your intro out of the gate. How many of you guys, say me in the chat, if you guys tried something, a script, a line, an intro, something, and then it didn't work for a while, so you just changed it and tried something else? Say me if you've done that. Me in the chat. All of us have, right? Now, How many of you guys are just going from one thing that you're guessing to another thing that you're also guessing? Right? It just, if you have to be, you're just guessing to guessing to guessing. This is where training like Kobe and not just practicing to practice really makes a difference, because you're practicing in the environment that tweaks it to the right direction. So what you did is what a lot of people do, Hector. You didn't do anything wrong. You did what most people do. And what do most people do? I'm going to stop the share for a couple minutes. What do most people do? We do something until it feels like it's not making progress, and then we switch it up. But most of the time when we're switching it up, we're not switching it up because of a metric. We're switching it up because of a feeling. It feels like it's not going the right direction. We're feeling like we don't like the responses that we're getting. And so we try to get ahead of the objection. And that's what you just did. What you did is you anticipated the objection. That's just kind of a way to phrase it in sales. You anticipated the objection. You knew, and I'm air quoting the new, you knew that they were going to have a problem with the cold call. And so you addressed the objection before it came out of their mouth. Here's the problem with that. You know what you're doing? You're talking about the objection before it even exists, which means inadvertently, in your attempt to address the objection before it happens, you're the one who created the objection. So mathematically, if 20, 30, 40% of the people weren't going to care about the cold call, they will now, because you made it sound like it was a bad thing. You see what I mean? I'll tell you a conversation that we had with somebody that was here right before this call started. They ended their call and they were like, oh, mine's so-and-so, and I'm calling from this company and I work with this, that, and the next thing. And my question to him is the same question that I'm going to ask to you. I was like, why did you feel the need to talk about what company you were from? And he gave me his answer. What would you say your answer is? Why do you think that you felt the need, like being able to lead with your company name is important?
Like I mentioned, it sounds more professional.
Okay. Gotcha.
All right.
Their answer was to make them feel better, right? To make them feel better about the situation. And then my answer is, okay, well, whoever wakes up, like, have you ever been in a bad mood and then somebody just mentioned a company name and then all of a sudden you felt better? No. Have you ever have you ever walked into a situation and you were a little bit unsure about what was going on and then someone randomly blurts out a company name that you've never heard before and then all of a sudden you feel really great?
No.
Okay, so what makes you think that's going to matter in a seller call?
You're right. Won't matter.
Your company name will not lend credibility. You know what will?
Your confidence and control. Yeah.
Confidence and control.
Mm-hmm.
Confidence and control 100% of the time, guys. And this is why we struggle, because we're practicing, but we're practicing the wrong stuff. Why? Because we don't know what the right stuff is. So let me do this. I'm going to call you twice, Hector, and everybody just tell me which one you like better. All right. You ready, Hector?
Yeah, I'm ready. Hey.
Hey, is this Hector?
Yes, this is Hector.
Hey, Hector, I'm so sorry to bother you, man. I just don't, please don't, just give me the opportunity to kind of go through this. But, I'm calling about I'm calling from Amazing Home Solutions, LLC Incorporated. And I just wanted to talk to you about your property out there on 1234 Banana Street Lane, Cleveland, Ohio, 7. How many of y'all are gone already? Me in the chat if you already hung up.
Bye. Yeah.
Like, nobody's listening to that conversation. Now, that's an extreme example. But if I told you that's how you sounded in your calls, Hector, would you be proud of that or would you want to change that?
Change that, of course.
Exactly, right? So let me give you a different one. You ready? And tell me which one you like better. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, Hector, my name's Daniel here. Had a follow-up. Looks like you might have been interested in selling your property out there on Banana Street. Wanted to follow up and talk to you a little bit. Did you guys get that property sold yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, gotcha. Well, talk to me. What's the situation? What has you interested in selling?
Just looking for cash right now.
Perfect. Okay. Which one are you going to have a conversation with? More
The
likely.
second one. Yeah.
Why?
Because you sounded more confident in what you were saying.
How much real estate knowledge did I give you?
None.
How much money did I demonstrate to you I had from a proof of funds?
Nothing.
What was my website or my company name? You don't know. But
Mm-mm.
which one did you feel was more professional?
The second one.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask you the question again. Does a company name and introducing yourself properly really mean that much, or is it something else to it?
It's something else to it.
That's where it is, bro. And this is the
Yeah.
stuff that I'm talking about. Now, let me say this, bro. I think you did a fantastic job. Why? Because you challenged yourself in front of 60 people. You did a role play call that you've never done before, and you took a shot at something that you haven't been doing forever, right?
Yeah.
That for me is a winning attitude. Your energy, your willingness to come out here and get this thing done. That's it. You're practicing, and that's the important part. You just need to learn how to practice in a better place. You need to practice with better information, because if you take your energy and put it with the right information, who's going to stop you?
No one.
That's it. And that's what it comes
Yeah.
down to, right? So big respect to you for jumping in here and doing the thing. This is why we do these, to give you guys some of the feedback that you need. So I agree with this feedback. I do. My hope is that you just take some of these takeaways and you start saying, all right, what's my focus? So what's your big takeaway, Hector? Takeaway number one, confidence and control, right? I'm gonna give you this, and then you give me anything else you have. Number one, it needs to be confidence and control. Confidence and control. You got to get out there and you got to act like you own it. Here's the thing. Let's address one final thing before we move on. You mentioned I'm calling agents and I'm calling exactly, Valena. We'll talk about that here in a second. You're calling agents. You're calling all of these different people. You want them to give you a shot. Here's the problem. And this is something that I'm actually going to get back to doing a training on in the community on. It's about frame control. It's about status, right? When you walk into the room, do you want to look like the new guy who's hoping they accept you? Or do you want to look like the person who's supposed to be there, that they're pulling out the chair for because they know that you're the one that's supposed to be there?
The one that's supposed to be there.
That's it. So how do you do that? Well, you have to show up like you deserve to be there, right? And the only way they know how to treat you is the way you present yourself. So when you walk into a real estate agent and you sound like a new guy who's looking for a shot, then they're going to treat you who's like a new guy who may or may not feel like giving a shot to. But if you walk in there like that dude, the chances of them treating you like that dude are that much higher. So you don't want to reduce your status in the conversation and make it look like you're some entry-level person who doesn't know what they're doing, because then they're going to treat you like that, and you don't want that. You need to increase your status. You need to walk in there like you're that dude, right? You're that lady. You're that person. Like, yo, I don't know who you've been talking to, but just you're welcome, because I'm here to solve your problem now. Now, maybe you don't say those words, but that's definitely the energy that you need to show up with. I promise you that will make a difference. And what happens is you're starting the tone of your conversation from a completely different place. And how you start off, right? That's going to be a good indicating factor of how the rest of the conversation is going to go, right? So I would say start with the confidence, start with the control, be more concise. Do not be afraid to ask the hard questions. Even if it sounds like a crazy question, if it sounds weird and you don't want to ask it, you know what that means?
It's not a good question to ask.
False. That means it's exactly the question you need to ask.
Yes.
You know why?
Okay. Because you're scared. You're not confident.
Well, that's part of it, but there's another reason. Here's what it is. If you were scared to ask it, so was everybody else.
Right.
And that's probably where the answer is. And the reason why they're still talking to you is because nobody asked that question. And because nobody asked that question, no one's uncovered the real problem. Everybody's avoiding an elephant in the room because it's uncomfortable. When you learn how to live in that uncomfortable place, that's how you win, bro. All right. So good stuff. How do you feel, bro? How do you feel about the feedback? What are your thoughts? What are your takeaways?
So I feel good about the feedback. You know, a lot to learn, a lot to progress about, you know, everything that you guys told me. For surely you sound more confident, be more controlled. But, you know, there's no buts, right? But, you know, I appreciate this, you know. I appreciate, you know, allowing me to come and, you know, be the first one to be on this cold call, like role play. And yeah, I'll let me take a screenshot of this right now, if I could, please, before you erase it.
Right there. There you go. Yeah. This is your before. Your after going to have an 8 in front of that.
All right, I got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
I bet.
Thank you.
Hector
I
down
appreciate
here.
it though.
Of course, man. Let's do it. All right, judges, get ready for TJ. We're gonna do TJ, and then we up to the next role plays. We're gonna get through these faster. Judges, y'all ready?
Yes, sir. Who's first?
You're talking. Go ahead, Jack.
All right, so
Let's go. Let's get to TJ.
All right. This one, I was impressed with this one. So, strength of intro, I give a 4. Damn, I'm having a tough time remembering this already. I give a 4. I think everything sounded pretty good. What was the thing that was wrong though? I don't want to say wrong, but I think it was just a little lengthy. Shoot, man, I'm sorry I'm giving you a 4. I don't even know why.
So I told you I'll take notes, man. They your memory, you'll forget quick on these things, bro.
Yo, for real. Rapport, I gave you a 4. This was really good. And with rapport, I mean, it got to the point where the rapport didn't really matter as much because you had such good trust with her. And I mean, you got everything for her. So honestly, I'm gonna bump that up to a 4.5. That's a 4.5 for rapport. Just because she was listening to everything you had to say, and it wasn't so much cracking jokes, but it was more like she had so much trust in you that alone is some solid rapport. Fact finding and covering motivation, that's a 5, man. You hit that on the head, man. You killed that. There was even some points where I was like, dang, is he pushing too hard, like with some of these questions and like going a little too much? But then I was just like, nah, man, he's like, that's exactly what you should have done. You didn't overstep. You weren't going around. You weren't beating around the bush. Like you hit it head on. That was good. I was impressed with that fact finding, and it got to the point where you didn't even have to really say it out loud. Like, yeah, it was a haunted house, but you didn't really go out and say it. So just the fact that it was known, I mean, that builds right back into the rapport. Where we at? Overcoming objections. So this one was tough for me because man, I gave you a 3. Reason I gave you a 3 is because you shot up your number. Now I know this is a role play, so maybe don't take this, take it with a grain of salt. But at first you mentioned 307,777, whatever. Then she said there was an issue with that number, so you shot right up to 700, man. I was like, what the hell do you do? Like, that was the only thing where I was like, dang. But I understand it's a hypothetical situation, so that was the only thing that kind of stuck out as like, dang, why'd you do that? Where we at? Number 5. Presentation of solutions, 5. You killed that. You covered more than I would have covered. You covered more than I thought anybody else that called this person would have covered. By bringing in the person to cleanse the house and everything. I mean, that's a solution that only this many people would have got. So, I mean, you pulled that out, and that was a good one. And then strength of close, I'm gonna have to say a 5, man. That ties right into that. You closed and you set the follow-up for the close. Yeah, man, knocked it out the park.
Very, very good stuff. Eddie, let's go to you, dog.
Cool. Intro, I'm gonna give you a 4. I loved every bit of it, and I'm only giving you a 4 because you kind of asked of who it was, kind of stuck on there a little bit. It wasn't necessarily that you asked who it was, because you could have just easily brushed right past it, but you kind of stayed on there for a little bit, and that's what bumped you down to a 4. Rapport building, I'm gonna give you a 4. I think your rapport building was great. You picked up on a lot of the little nuggets that she was providing. So yeah, solid 4. Fact finding and uncovering motivation, I'm gonna give you a 4.5 because of the objections that she gave and the little nuggets that she did provide. You picked up on all of them and addressed them. So that's that. Overcoming. Oh, fact finding, uncovering motivation. I'll give you a 5. Sorry. Q.
Wait, hold on, bro. We're off. Okay, intro
Yeah,
was
you're-
what?
Yep. No, you're good on that one. On all of them except for fact finding. That
Okay.
one. That one's a 5.
Okay, overcoming objections 4.5.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Presentation of solutions. I will give you a solid 4. Great job presenting solutions. Jack brought up that you presented the sage, and bro, I mean, good job picking up on everything. You throwing in the 7s. You're feeding into her whole personality. You brought the conversation alive, bro. So great job on that. I am gonna give you a 3.5 for strength of close and follow up. I think you could have closed it. If you would have closed it, you would have got a solid 5.
very, very interesting. All right, good feedback, Jamarco.
All right. All right, TJ, I don't know you, but you definitely, to me, you're definitely a diesel. You really pick up later, and it was amazing. So here it is. Number 1. Okay, on the intro, I feel like you said the right things. Just the tonality wasn't really where it needed to be. So to me, it was more of a 3 when it comes to the intro. Second, we have the rapport building. Rapport building was a little confused by it. Reason is because you ask a lot of questions. So like I have the tendency of doing that a lot. It sounded a little bit like a detective, right? So this is what happened. So okay, so what else? If there was a lot of questions one after the other, and not enough chatting, chit chatting. I feel like there could have been a little bit more chit chatting. So for that, I give a 2.7.
My guy said 2.7. Jesus. All right.
It's almost then for fact finding. Again, to me, was too many questions one after the other without any. There was nothing in the middle. It was just very, very robotic, like a detective would do. So to me, it's a 4 because you got to the end of it. You got everything you needed to get. But would have been a 5 with a little bit more rapport, if it makes sense. Then overcoming the objections is definitely 3.5 on that one because you did do it. But I guess with a little bit of a rapport, you would have been able to circle back faster on that one.
What was the score?
3.5.
3.5?
Yes. Overcoming objections. Presenting solution, I think it was excellent. 4.5. It was because once he got where the situation was, he was in charge. And then strength at close, I felt like he closed it. So to me, it's a 5. I don't think you can go any better than that.
Okay. All right. I think that more or less covers it. I think Jamarco's kind of on drugs, but I respect the fact that he's as thorough as he was. No, Valena, you will not get a 0. We should bring Valena up next. All right, here's my feedback for all this. TJ, bro, you're a freaking animal, dog. Why weren't you in the competition, dude? Why were you helping me with Zoom?
Yeah, I was a newbie closer then. I only had a few months of experience behind me, but now I got a lot more reps and a lot more experience.
Yeah, here's the thing, bro. Let me walk through some of these things for you, right? Let's go through all of this. Number 1, you had a little bit of an advantage in that you heard the call in advance.
100%, 100%. And I said that in the chat. When he said, "Why'd you jump at the 700?" I realized that was because I heard her tell Hector that she wanted to be in the 700s. That's why I jumped up so much. And I was scored unfair. I was scored because of that, but it wasn't a fair advantage to me, so that's fair.
Sure. So when I look at this, I have to look at it from the perspective of factoring all the things, right? I've done this for a while. How do I factor in all the things that we see and that we don't see? Why is this important? Because that's what sellers are doing to us, right? Like, here's the thing. I don't know that I necessarily agree with Gianmarco's rank or a score here, but I'm okay with that. Why? Because there's going to be sellers that are going to score you unfairly on how you navigate a seller conversation. The purpose of this is to figure out what we can do to navigate these things more effectively. This is why this is powerful. So when I look at this, I'm like, okay, so he had a little bit of an advantage. Plus, you are by nature a more intuitive person. Is that a fair assumption?
Absolutely. So I used to be a teacher, so my approach is very Socratic and trying to ask questions to lead me to what is actually going on.
Got you. So you got empathetic tendencies, right? You're a good communicator. You got a soft presence. So these are all things that are going for you. Walking into a situation, you got a feel of what's going on. This makes sense to me, right? Because what happens is you were put in kind of your best case scenario. Not only were you put in your best case scenario, you were put in your best case scenario against a situation that would be everybody else's worst case scenario. So it gives you that much more reason to shine. But the question isn't, did you shine here? The question is, can you duplicate that shine in every circumstance, even if it's not your best case scenario? When the answer to that is yes, now you're at a point where you're not hoping to close deals, you're choosing when you close deals, right? That's the differentiator. And my guess is, if I listen to you over the course of 10 calls, how many turn out this good? How do you handle a red seller that's just an asshole to you, right? Like, these are the things that I would really want to see. What I'm going to tell you right now is, yeah, Jack nailed it with the way you flip-flopped on those numbers. You were all over the place. I'm like, yo, this guy's smooth talking this person. I just did a whole video about breaking down the difference between the selling and closing, a seller and a closer. And I was using like the presidents as an example. I used Barack Obama versus Donald Trump just because these are complete opposite personality types, right? I don't care how you feel about either one of those people. It doesn't change the fact that they have drastically different personality types, and the way they communicate differentiates something. You were a great salesperson, but as a negotiator, that was abysmal. I was like, bro, what kind of negotiator? My guy went from 300 to 700. Now, why is this important, guys? I'm going to tell you this. This is why this is important. I won't go into this in detail. We talked about this I think last week in one of the trainings, but when you're first at the very beginning, you're focused on, how do I get through the conversation, right? How do I get through the conversation? How do I make sure that they don't hang up on me? How do I make sure that I get all the information? You're focused on step 1 through 3, right? We think we're focused on sales script, sales process. That's not what you're focused on. That's step 2 and 3. What's step 1? Step 1 is getting over all the BS that's going on inside of you before you start the script or the process. Most of you never get past step 3 because you're so stuck on, what is my own BS, my own nonsense? What are the own struggles that I have that's holding me back? How do I learn the script? How do I learn the process? You never leave there. You live your entire career at step 1 through 3, wondering why you're not there yet. But once you get past that, you get to the other steps, you start realizing there's a whole different world to live here. And when you're actually past that stuff and that stuff becomes second nature, you're able to actually focus on more important things in the conversation, things that you wouldn't even notice. So when I'm looking at what TJ said in that, here's what I'm thinking. And this is where where people's gauge is from a sales standpoint. TJ was focused on rapport and moving the thing forward, and he crushed it. But when I'm listening to her say all of these numbers, you want to know what my head said? Here's what my head said. She doesn't like 3, 4, or 5. Okay, perfect. That means that her offer might have to be in the 200s. And I'm going to have to figure out.
That's actually what I was thinking. Yeah. I never said it couldn't. I just said it couldn't have those numbers. I never said where the 7 needed to be.
Right? So in my head, when I get past 1 through 3, get over my stuff. Let me get into script. Let me get my sales process. Let me get to rapport, right? When I get past all of that stuff, because that's second nature to me, because I've been doing this long enough, I don't have to think about that anymore. Now I'm able to think about other stuff. And in my head, I'm like, all right, now I already know where my offer is going to go. I'm going to say, this is how I'm going to phrase it. I'm going to say, wow, Kate, that's really interesting. Here's the thing. I'm happy to help you with that, right? But if we're going to navigate this, we have to understand that we have to play within the realm of the numbers, and that might require us getting outside of the box of traditional real estate for us to do this the way that makes you feel comfortable. Are you okay with that, right? And then her answer is like, yeah, well, as long as I'm able to do this, I'm touching on our hot points like TJ did when he talked about the 77 minutes, right? Ru, appreciate you, dude. Come back. We'll be here all week, dog. So that's where I'm going. Now I'm using this as an opportunity to say, well, here's where my number needs to be. And some people might look at that and say, oh, well, you're giving them too low of an offer. No, you're not. You're giving them the offer that they want. They won't accept an offer that's above that. That's not what they feel comfortable doing. They need to be in this ballpark. So you're solving a problem for them that meets their needs. You can't put your brain inside of the seller's head as to what that's supposed to mean. And if they're going to leave the house and potentially lose it anyways, right? That's better than nothing. So these are the things that I'm thinking about when you start focusing on different parts of the conversation. That being said, dude, you're an animal, right? If this is the way your presence is on the phone, I could imagine with just some basic tweaks, some just basic, like, hey, pay attention to this, pay attention to that, dude, you're going to be able to close whatever kind of deal you want, dude.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah. Again, I was kind of cheating off of Hector. I knew that she wanted to be in the 700s, and really that question was a probing because she said she needed to sell in 9 days. So I was really just seeing how low she could go, and then didn't work my way back up.
Yeah. That makes sense to me. Really, really good stuff, bro. What are your takeaways? Any thoughts, any takeaways, any feedback on all this?
I think it's all super fair feedback. I definitely need help on the intro because I got dinged pretty much across the board for it. So I'd love to kind of get some feedback there on your thoughts.
Yeah. Here's the quick feedback I'll give. And if you end up hanging around for more stuff, we'll definitely go into it in more detail. But here's my feedback on intros. Intros need to be 5 to 10 seconds max. For me, it's 5 to 7 seconds. Right? The last thing I'm not asking who you are 8 out of 10 times. There's going to be some times if I'm calling a dude's name and it's a lady that answers the phone, I may say something about that, right? Like there's going to be some exceptions, but as a general rule, I'm walking in there. I'm assuming I'm talking to the person. I'm saying, hey, TJ, it's Daniel. Here's the reason for my call. And then what I'm doing is I'm saying who I am, why I'm there, what I hope to accomplish, and I'm ending it with an open-ended question. I'm doing it within 5 to 7 seconds. Right? That's just that's how much time you have to keep or lose their attention, that 5 to 7 seconds. And people just don't realize it, how powerful it is. You guys have no idea how many of you guys are getting hung up on, and they think that you're selling an extended warranty to their Honda or Hyundai. They have no clue you're calling about the house because y'all spent so much time babbling about other crap, giving company names and all these different things. And it's just like, they don't care about any of that. Right. And so they hang up because they think you're selling them something completely different because they had no clue you were calling about the house because you're taking way too long and you're sounding so insecure. You sound like a call center rep, but you're not a call center rep. You're a real estate investor. Act like one. You know what I mean? Also, I'm not giving my company name because I don't feel like getting sued. And litigators are a real thing. So 5 to 10 seconds. Introduce yourself. Address them. Tell them why you're calling. End it with an open-ended question. That's the quick summary of it, bro.
Awesome. Appreciate it, DQ.
Okay.
Thanks,
you guys are
thanks,
awesome.
judges.
All right. Let's get a couple more people before we let's get a couple more people. Well, let's do Jalen, Peter. I want to get some ladies up here though. To Valena. Al, you are a lady, but you're not the type of lady I'm referring to. Ooh, Lindsay. What's up, Lindsay? I thought I saw Lindsay pop in here. Valena, how do you feel about going? Why? Because you said you were nervous, which is exactly why I want to call you out. Valena, aren't you cold calling right now? Let's see how long it takes her to answer me. Let's see if she just completely ignores me.
No, I'm here. I was just driving. I am cold calling, but it's way easier with real people than here.
That it is.
I'm a real person.
Kate is also a real person.
I'm a real person.
Yeah, but there's like only me and seller versus me, you, and other 30, 40, 50 people.
So what I am hearing is you don't want to get better at talking to sellers. Is that what I'm hearing? Is that what you guys heard? That's what I heard.
No, it's not what I was referring to.
Oh, okay. All right. Let me know if you want to give it a shot today, and we'll work with you and give you some pointers and takeaways. You do not have to, but you're welcome to if you'd like.
And you have very tough judges too.
Yeah, we do. That's good. Sellers are tough too. The difference between the judges and the sellers is the sellers won't tell you. They'll just hang up on you.
That's true.
So you can't know what you could have done better.
That's true. Let me listen to some. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right. Let's let Jalen go next. Kate, do you want to do that other one? And we'll let Peter and
Giovanna and Randy's seller.
I can't remember I don't know why I can't remember. I remember the whole
It's the
thing.
one that it's the one you did.
I legit don't remember.
Okay.
Don't make fun of me. Send it to me.
I'll send it to you.
I wish that was helpful, Jack, but it's not. I really wish it was. It should be. I can't explain why I don't remember this thing that I did like 3 days ago. Kate's gonna send it to me.
That's abbreviated.
Okay. You literally 2 more words than Jack did, and somehow it made more sense. What's that? That's interesting. Okay. Let's do Giovanna. You down to be a judge for this one?
I'm heading out in a little DQ, but I'll be here tomorrow.
Okay, cool. All right, we'll get you tomorrow. So it'll be the same. Jack, I hate you. Eddie, do you remember the motivation, dog? Do you remember the situation? All right. I'm gonna send it to you. Gianmarco, do you remember?
No, I don't remember.
Okay. I'm gonna send it to you guys. All right, there you go. All right, so Jalen, you going up next. You ready, bro?
And ready.
You been ready. All right, my bad. Let's see. Let's go Gianmarco. Chat. Boom. Jack knows. PD, appreciate you. Okay, Gianmarco, you got that? You on board? Eddie, you on board?
Yeah.
Everybody's on board? Case ready? Okay.
Oh, wait. You didn't send it to me.
Bro, you literally sent it to me.
Bro, do you see what I said? I didn't remember the whole thing.
I hate you, dude.
That was one
Well,
part.
you don't need to remember the whole thing, right? You just, as long as you know what the
I
motivation.
don't think this detail's gonna help me, bro.
Bro, that's it. That's the information right there.
Okay, so there's no details. That's it. That's all it is.
That's it. That's all you got. That's all you need right there. Y'all can figure it out. If you can't, then I can't help you. There's no help for you. All right, Jalen, you got 6 minutes to hit all the things. You know what they are. You know what you got to do, right? You say ring, ring. I'm gonna put them in the chat right here just in case. And the timer start the second that Kay says hello. You got any final questions?
Nah, let's roll.
Whenever you're ready.
Ring.
Hello?
Hey, Kate.
Who's this?
Kate, this is Jalen. You have filled out some information about some of the property over there in Cali.
Yeah, that's me.
Okay. What can I do for you? How can I be of service?
Well, you're not a realtor or anything. Like, I don't
No.
want to deal with any big realtor companies. Like, I prefer to work man to man.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not a realtor. Have you been reached out to by realtors?
Yeah, I do business man to man. I don't want to deal with any big companies or anything.
Okay, cool. You're talking the right one. What has you considering selling the property?
I want to move out and get some land.
You want to move out and get some land?
Yeah.
Have you already been identifying like what type of land you're looking at?
No, not really. I just need to sell the house and get away from these neighbors.
Okay, got it. So it wouldn't be more important to find that out first where you're going? You just want to sell the house first?
Well, I got to figure out how much money I got.
Okay. What do you have in mind?
Well, I think my house is worth $1 million, but these neighbors of mine seem to be settling for a lot less.
Okay, got it. So you think the house is worth $1 million, and you said that the neighbors that's been selling the area, they're selling for a lot less.
Yep. Yeah,
Okay.
I've
Why do
done
you
all
think that
kinds
is?
I've done all kinds of improvements. I got a 8-foot tall fence. I just painted the whole house bright blue. I've got, ripped out the HOA landscaping and put in my own. It's beautiful.
Okay. And hypothetically, I mean, when are you trying to get this done?
As soon as possible.
Okay. So you want to sell as soon as possible, but you want a retail price?
Well, I mean, I'm talking man to man. Let's see what
Okay.
you got.
So That's interesting. So what made you fill out the like what were you hoping for? Because I know when you're asking for retail, it more so comes with the cost, right? Because when you're getting retail, you're going to run into retail buyers who are going to want things done. So they're going to have concessions, inspections, appraisals, everything that comes with the loan. Loans are going to fall through, but you're always going to get more. But when you're going man to man, obviously there's a cost of convenience with that. So I'm trying to figure out which is more important to you. Is it the speed and convenience, or is it getting the most possible?
The cash is important. I'm not dealing with any banks.
Okay. So you rather trade the cash for the higher price?
Yeah, I mean, as you know, I've done all these improvements to the property, improvements that I enjoy, and I feel like there is a ton of value in that.
Okay, got it. And what have you tried to do as far as selling the property so far?
Filling out these stupid forms.
Okay. What kind of offers have you been getting?
Well, most people don't even call me back because they're saying they can't do cash at the number I want. And you know, I'll negotiate. It's cash.
Okay. How flexible are you on $1 million?
And I feel like I deserve $1 million. I'm willing to have negotiations on it.
All right. So if, let's say I can get this done. Well, now what time frame? Because you did say as soon as possible. But are we talking 30 days, 60 days, or what type of time frame?
I'm tired of these neighbors, so I'm ready to move me and all of my toys. I got boats and ATVs parked out. I'm ready to get us all moved out.
Okay, so about 30 days.
Yeah.
All right.
I
So
mean,
if I could get
maybe
this,
you know, ideally maybe before that, but I'll take 30 days.
okay. So if I can get it done 30 days or before that, what type of price are you looking at? If we can do it as is, you don't have to do anything to the property. We're man to man, so I'll just take it cash. I'm not gonna ask you to do anything in regards to the property, and it's take care of all the closing costs. What would that look like for you?
You know, the neighbors are in that price range. I think that's kind of where people are at. For the 300, I still think my house is worth more because of all of the things like the fence and everything I put into the house.
Okay. So what number would get it done?
Well, I mean, you called me. What kind of number are you thinking?
I didn't call you. You filled out the form.
But I said I was going to get a cash offer. So what kind of number are we looking at?
I mean, I don't know as of yet. I know, $300,000, that's more so what retail value is for the homes. So the challenge what we're dealing with now is you want a retail number for the convenience of a cash offer. And I just don't know how I'm supposed to do that. And I know you have mentioned you hate realtors and you don't want to work with realtors. So filling out the form, I'm assuming it's a reason you're looking for someone like myself rather than the realtors or the retail buyers. So
Yeah,
I'm just trying
to avoid all of the mess with dealing with the realtors and the big companies. I just want cash for my property.
Okay, got it. And then the cash that comes with the cost, right? Because obviously you're gonna get more if you do go that retail and the realtor route. But if you're going with someone,
and that is time, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Let's pull up the scoring sheets. Made it through. Jalen, how you feeling, man?
Feeling good.
You did good. I was pushing you a little bit there.
Yeah, that was good. Hey, Peter, you're on the road, man. Do you want to circle back when you're a little bit more stationary? You good? Okay, Peter wants to just run it. What do you think? Should we give Peter a different one or should we give him this one?
I'm good to run it again. Peter, do you want a different one or do you like this one?
Whatever you want to give me.
Valena says, you want to do a different one? All right, we'll do a different one. Let's just score. Jalen on this one. Let me pull up the scoring sheet. We'll do a different one for Peter next. Here we go.
You're gonna have to send me a new one unless we're gonna run a different one from last
Yeah,
week.
no. We'll do it. Okay. All right. Let's go. Jamarco, we'll go ahead and let you go first, man. Coming with the hammer. Jalen, any you were saying, any thoughts, any comments? What are your feelings on this one, Jalen?
I feel good. Just waiting to see what the judges say.
Okay, I got some really I have some thoughts on this one, so I'm looking forward to giving it back to you. Jamarco, we'll go ahead and start with you, bro.
All right. So the opening, the intro, I feel like it was good. I didn't like too much when he said, if this is this Kate, I think I should have just get into it. So for that, I give a 3.5. Rapport building was good, but I feel like I could have circled back to it a little more, and that goes into the fact finding and uncovering the motivation. That whole part, it was missing. It was missing. So for this one, for rapport building, I give a 3. Because he definitely could have done it. And then fact finding and uncovering motivation is 1. Now, overcoming objections, I give him a 5. It was excellent. Absolutely. Presenting solution, a 4, for sure. It was there. And then close, it got very close to it, but it wasn't there yet, so 3.5.
Interesting. All right, let's take it over to Eddie.
For strength of intro, I give it a 2. It was really awkward. I would suggest, like how DQ says all the time, try it out. I would have hung up on you if you would have just said my name and didn't say anything else. So that's that. Let's see, building rapport, I am gonna give you a 2.5. I felt like it was a little combative in the way you were asking questions. I felt like you never really got on the same side as her. Everything was just kind of transactional. You stayed on this side, she stayed on this side. Fact finding under uncovering motivation, I am going to give you a 2 for finding out the little facts. The little facts about, condition, price, point. I don't necessarily think that that's important in phone calls as more of the motivation. So I'm going to keep that as a 2. Overcoming objections, I'm going to give you a 2. You pushed past them. Presentation of solutions, I gave you a 1 because I believe that you are able to present some solutions, and you would have presented some if you had the chance to, but I don't think you really got the chance to present any solutions, so I'm gonna keep that as a 1. You didn't get the chance to present any sense of close or follow-up, so I'm gonna give you a 0 on that one.
Interesting balance. All right, Jackie C, what you got, dog?
I like this phone call. I really like this one. This one was interesting for me to try to grade and follow. This was a good one. Like I liked how you sounded on the phone, and there were some things that I could easily pick out, but at the same time, I was like, dang, with a little bit of like tweaking, this could go a whole different direction. So that being said, for the intro, I was gonna score you lower, but I gave you a 3. And the reason I gave you a 3 is because it caught my attention. Like if you called me and just said, hey, I would be like, wait, who is this? Like I would think that you're somebody that I know. But then you didn't really lead with or finish with an open-ended question. So it was just kind of like Eddie said, a little bit awkward. But it definitely would have caught my attention and I wouldn't have hung up right away. So that right there is good. For number 2, I gave you a 1, man. I didn't feel like there was any rapport, and you guys just stayed like I think Eddie said it, just on one side over here and one side over here, and like there was no connection. Like you were able to extract some answers from her, but it was just very like transactional, like he said. I just didn't feel like it was there. Number 3, fact finding. So I gave this one a 2.5, and I think you did a good job of asking a lot of questions, but it seems like these questions weren't very, it's not like you would have asked separate questions on another phone call. Like you would have asked the same questions. It was like copy and paste almost. And to me, it just sounded a bit robotic. It didn't sound like there was much, your tone stayed very the same. And so I just don't, 2.5 right down the middle. For overcoming objections, man, I gave this a 4. That first objection that came up, I think you killed it. Like that was a great overcoming of an objection where she wanted $1 million and you're like, yeah, but why the hell are you gonna ask for $1 million when everything is selling for 300? I think you overcame that beautifully. But then every other objection, it seems like, it just kind of went downhill. You didn't have that same like hitting it right on the head of going through the objection. And man, if it wasn't for the rest of them, I would have given you a 5 because that first one was so good. Let's see. For presentation of solutions,
what'd you give for the objections?
A 4.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Presentation of solutions, I gave you a 3 because while you did present the solution, the cash offer, it's not that you stuck with it and tried to push past her issues with it. It's like you kind of sat frozen saying the same thing. And I'm not saying that you should have tried to present another solution, but I think that there was more juice to be squeezed with that solution that you presented. Like you didn't go full force with it. And then unfortunately for strength of close or follow-up, I gave you a 0 because we never got to that. But
And what was
overall,
the
I thought that was
presentation of
solid.
solutions again, bro?
3.
3 and then 0. Gotcha. Sorry. Okay. Here's my biggest feedback for this, Jalen. And here's what I liked about this, bro. I can tell that you're intentional in your conversations. I can tell that you do this, you put the thought into it. However, here's a couple of the concerns that I had. In your opinion, who's the most important person in that conversation? You or the seller?
Seller. The seller.
Okay. In your call, who sounded like the most important person based on the way you presented yourself?
Definitely, I would say me, yeah.
What makes you say that?
So the questions for sure. That's just because I had a short time frame, so I tried to like, I guess drill in as many questions as I could, but I'm not gonna say I didn't listen, but like it was more so I was just trying to understand the picture. But yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a really good answer. And that's part of it. Here's the other part. You made your process and what is important to you the priority, and you acted like she was supposed to be on board with that. Right? You kept saying things like speed and convenience. I get it. It's a catchphrase and people use it. But what does that mean to the seller? Nothing, unless something about that conversation was communicated that was a priority. She never once said that. That was not her priority. Her priority was something different. You know what her motivation was here? Right? Just to be clear, and we're going to do a different one for Peter, but this is the one that we did 3 people on Friday. I had to jump in and do it a different way to demonstrate how to get the actual motivation. Her motivation is that she has an HOA that's extremely controlling about the way she manages her household, and she hates it. Right? Right? That was the issue. And she was giving signs all over the place. She talked about how she had all kinds of vehicles and toys in her front yard. She talked about how she painted the house blue. She talked about the neighbors with this. She clearly has a problem with authority. She clearly has a problem with the man, if you will. She has a problem with all this stuff, and she kept throwing it out to you. But you were so focused on your questions, you didn't actually get to her problem. You don't matter. I don't matter. Peter doesn't matter. The seller is what matters. And unless we can communicate to them that they are the priority in this conversation, they're going to feel like you care more about your sales process than you do about their problem. That was the message that was delivered in your call. You cared more about your sales process than you did about solving her problem. How do we know? You didn't even figure out what her problem was. But you did say speed and convenience like 8 times. Right? Now, in this one, I actually got her, I think I got her to negotiate down like a huge drop. Did I not, Kate?
Yes, I think as long as you show up with gold or diamonds,
Correct.
you got that deal.
Or diamonds or Bitcoin, right? But because I was able to speak to the specific situation, I was able to get a drastically huge price drop. Why? Because I was not focused on my process. I was focused on the person. This is why I always say, nothing wrong with processes, nothing wrong with scripts. But if you stop your growth in this industry or in sales overall at your process or the questions you answer, I'm sorry, you're going to lose more than you win 80 to 90% of the time. Why? Because there is something past the process. And do you know what it is, Jalen? It's the person. And if you never get to the person, how are you ever going to actually help anybody? You know what the difference is, though? How many people are out here working a script or a process? Everybody, right? Everybody got a script or a process. You know how many people are out here trying to get in contact and try to understand and dig into the deeper aspects of what's going on with the real person? Very, very few. The people in my community. Because I'll verbally assault them if they don't. With love, obviously. And sometimes with not so much love. But that's what it is, man. Because there's always a person at the other end of that. And this is how it doesn't matter what happens. Galen was abused, yes. But Galen's now closing up all kinds of deals, too. That's why, right? I feel like Galen probably locking up a deal every day, right? Every other day? Something like that. Galen don't even come around no more because he learns so he's just locking up deals. That's all he's doing. But that's what it is, bro. Like, that's the part right there. So as I'm listening to you talk, here's what I hear. I'm like, this is a young guy who's hustling, but he's out here pushing the wrong information. And as a result, his message is falling on deaf ears because he's not communicating in the language of the person he's speaking with. You in Japan speaking English, wondering why nobody's listening, even though what you have to say makes a lot of sense. Right? I'm just trying to teach you how to speak the language, bro. And the language changes depending on every person you talk to. And if you don't change your dialect, when you get on the phone with a different person, you are going to miscommunicate. Just the way it comes down to, right? My goal is to teach you guys to stop miscommunicating. Learn the language so that every single call you get on, now you know how to communicate. Now you know how to differentiate. This is how you go from trying to close a deal to never losing deals. This is why that's my philosophy in my community. I don't want to teach you how to close deals. I want to teach you how to never lose one. This is how you do it, right? You fix that, it's going to change a lot. Here's another thing. You sound young. You have to figure out a way to compensate the way you sound with the way you present. You do those two things, I don't see a scenario where you don't lock up consistent deals. You don't do either one of those things, I can tell you what your story looks like. I'm out here, I'm doing the work, I'm pulling different lists, I'm talking to different people. Every once in a while, I get people that are interested, but I'm just not getting it across the finish line. I'm trying different things, I'm connecting with different people, I'm doing different stuff. Does any of that sound familiar?
At first for sure.
Okay. Now what's evolved?
So the evolve, pretty much, I know what I'm looking for when I'm talking to someone.
Okay.
So the reason, and this isn't an excuse, but basically it was more so the time, like the time was in the back of my head and I'm just like, okay, like how do I find out this person's situation fairly quickly so I can pretty much like get to the point and like present a opportunity, like a altercation, like an opportunity. But that basically what's evolved is just trying to, I mean, I know what I'm looking for basically when I hop in the call.
Got you. But has that increased? Are you now locking up 3, 4, 5 times more deals as a result of that revelation internally?
Not 3 times, no. Not 3, 5 times, no.
Okay. Are you where you want to be?
No.
Are you close to where you want to be? Or are you still got work to do?
A lot of work to do.
There you go. And that's what it comes down to, bro. If I think the thing that gets you where you want to be are the 2 things that I just said. Now, here's the good thing. The good thing is you can work on those things. The other good thing is I think you will. I think you're the type of personality that will do the work. I get that vibe from you that you'll do the work, right? I hope that's true. I don't know that that's true. I don't know you well enough. I haven't seen you through tough situations, right? I think you would do the work. Here's the downside. You want the downside?
Yep.
That's going to be hard to do on your own, bro. Why? Because you don't know when you're not doing it. You're in your head. You're just doing the same thing you always did. It always sounds right to you. You need to find and connect yourself with people who will call it out when you start going off track, right? Because here's the problem with this. You ever use the analogy or heard the analogy? And I don't know the exact numbers, so if I get this wrong, whatever. The analogy still stands. They did this test to where somebody was leaving from like LA on a plane, right? And they were going to New York City. And what they said was, well, how big of a difference is it if you're just 1 degree off? Just 1 degree off, that's it. Well, because they were 1 degree off, they ended up in, I think it was like Baltimore or Washington, D.C. 1 degree off put you at a completely different destination from where you thought you were supposed to go. And when it comes to stuff like this, that can also be true, right? And so knowing that you have someone to put you back on course when you start veering off, that is going to be invaluable to you. How you do that, that's up to you. That's a problem you're going to have to solve for. But my advice to you is that if you really want to get the goals that you're saying you want to get, you got to find somebody that can say, nah, bro, you on your course, you need to get back on the right course. So that way you can start tweaking these things. Because if you learn how to compensate for the way you sound with your age, you learn how to make them the priority and not your process the priority, it's a wrap. You just got to work on those 2 things, bro. I can see that, Glenn. 100% I can see that.
I appreciate it.
All right. Final thoughts, Jalen?
Man, I think everybody was haters. Sign off. Nah, I appreciate it. All the feedback, I appreciate it.
Awesome. Good stuff, man. Well, hopefully we'll be seeing you around. Guys, just so you know, we're going to do a couple more role plays before we wrap today. We are doing this for the rest of this week until Thursday. So we're going to do it tomorrow. We're going to do it Thursday. I got a huge announcement. And I think I'm going to do it Thursday. But it's going to be one of those types of announcements that if you're not here, you won't get the biggest bet part of it. Like it'll end before the Zoom ends. So it just won't be like, you might be able to get benefits from the announcement afterwards, but it won't be the same. I promise. Like it physically cannot be the same thing, which is why I'm being really intentional as to when I do the announcement, because I know that I want to make sure that as many people are there as possible. So if you guys are interested in learning about some of the cool stuff that we're going to be doing, I'm thinking Thursday. Be here Thursday. We'll be doing this for the rest of the week. Me in the chat, if you've learned something today that you think will help you in your conversations, tell the truth. Put like a 3 in the chat if you've learned absolutely nothing and you think this is all stupid. You just don't know how to leave Zoom. Somebody just DM me a 3. Don't worry, Jack. I won't tell him it was you, dog. I won't tell him it was you. Awesome. You guys are awesome. All right. I'm excited about the rest of this week. I'm excited about the announcement. I'm pretty positive I'm going to do it Thursday. It's going to be fun. It's going to be really, really cool. I want to do really, really cool stuff. I want to help everybody lock up a shit ton of deals. All right. Let's do a couple more. I know Lindsay wants to go. Lindsay, what's going on, yo? How you been? Good? All right. So, all right. Peter, you ready, bro? Are you going to have like cell phone service?
Yeah, dude, I'm doing this all day long. Give it to me.
All right, bet. All right, I see the energy. Kate is. I got a decent one for you. We do that. We'll let Lindsay go next. Kate is not back. You want to be a seller, Glenn? Glenn, what's going on, dog? Bro, you just out here locking up deals every day. Is that why you got too big time for us, bro?
No, but
okay. I'm
trying to lock up deals every day.
Okay, good. We miss you, dog. I'm glad you're doing well. Glad you are doing well. All right, let's do this. Glenn, I feel like Glenn is a good matchup for Lindsay. So we're going to let Glenn match up with Lindsay. Kate's still tied up. So Al, you want to go for Peter?
As the seller? Sure.
As the seller, yes. No, as the auctioneer. Of course, as the seller, bro. What are you doing?
I don't know. Maybe we're like both trying to buy the house, but nobody's selling house. We're talking to each
Oh,
other.
who do you think?
Like
who do
the
you
prank
think-
where they let two pizzerias, like you know what I'm talking about.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about?
Like they call one pizzeria and then they call another one, like Pizza Hut and Domino's, and they'll let them talk to each other.
It's not a
Oh
thing.
my God.
What you just said doesn't exist.
Yes, he does.
No, it doesn't. Al, if you had to go on a deal, and I know you don't know Peter, you may not know Peter. If you had to go toe to toe on a deal with Peter, who's getting a deal, bro?
I'm getting a deal. I'll answer for him.
Let you answer, Al, bro. Why you gonna take the L that quickly, dog?
He was thinking, so I had to clear it up.
We'll just JV on
I
it,
tell
bro.
sellers I'm gonna buy the house from them. Like I'll just tell them. Do I
You
buy
know
the
what
house
they
from
say-
them? No, I don't get the deal, but I'll tell them.
If y'all know Al, you know Al's gonna figure out a way to just end up hiring Peter to JV on the deal, do no work whatsoever, and still get half. That's how Al moves. Al makes more money than anybody I have ever met in this industry by doing absolutely nothing. I don't know how he does it. Dude don't do anything. He just keeps locking up deals. I just don't get it.
So falsely true.
Falsely true. Sounds like an Israeli businessman. Is this how y'all get down over there, bro? Is that what it is? Is this why you moved to Colombia so you could dominate Colombia as well?
Nah, I'm not trying to get into anything out here.
Yeah.
I'm just vibing, bro.
He only says this because he knows that this is being streamed and he doesn't want somebody coming and knocking on his door. All right, Al, I'm gonna pause you because Kate's back, and I feel like Peter needs a big challenge, and I feel like your personalities are too similar, and you guys are gonna be an even match. I need him to have an awkward match. So
It's a good seller. She should do it.
Huh?
I'm catching my breath still. The dog got out.
Did you get it?
Yes, he ran right to my kids, but they did a terrible job at containing. So I'm good now.
All right, bet. All right, here you go, Kate. Here you go. Wait, hold on. Eddie, you still good to judge? Actually, you know what, Eddie? I'm gonna pause you. Al, can you be a judge, bro?
Keep going.
He's gone. He went to go. He saw a girl walking by his window and
I think-
immediately went
There he
to.
is. He's back.
Yeah. No, I can judge. Be a judge.
Holy crap! Not Jeff Smith. Get out of here. All right. So let's do. All right. Let's do Jeff, Jamarco, and Alon. Hold on. Let me get Jeff up here.
Jeff Smith.
Jeff Smith?
Jeff Smith, ladies and gentlemen.
The one?
and only.
Oh,
Who the hell?
Whoa.
Look at this guy.
I saw the email in. I was like, I love Daniel's little competitions like these. These are so much fun, and everybody gets so much value. Like I want to watch this.
Okay. Jeff's been through this thing multiple times. He's won one. He made it to Arizona on the last one. Jeff's a vet. Y'all, if y'all know Jeff, y'all know Jeff. Jeff's Jeff. You know what I mean? And Jeff doesn't need any introductions. Jeff's Jeffing, actively Jeffing. I've never Jeffed before. I tried the Jeff. It didn't go as like I thought it would go. All right, Kate, you got that?
Yes.
All right, Jeff, there you go. Al, here you go. Gianmarco Alessandri. There you go. All right, y'all ready?
Been ready.
All right, Peter, you know what it is. You got the scoring criteria. You got all of the things, right?
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. I got the strength of intro, all that good stuff. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to say go. You say ring, ring. Kate says hello. And then you got 6 minutes to make magic happen. Any other questions?
No. No.
All right. You sure you're being safe right now, bro? I don't want you driving off the side of the road trying to close a pretend seller. All right, bet. All right, cool. All right, whenever you're ready, dog.
Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, this is Peter. How you doing today?
I'm doing well.
Nice. So I'm calling to ask if you're still interested in selling your property on 123.
Yeah, it looks like I have to. So, yep. What do you got?
Oh, I was usually I'd say take me from the top, but what makes you say you have to?
I just, it's time. It's just time.
That's an interesting. It's time. So, all right, take me from the top. What's got you considering selling, and how can I help?
Well, it's I have a great property, and it's in a great area. It's an older property, and I've lived here a long time and really happy. Up until a few years ago when the new neighbors moved in.
Uh-oh, the new neighbors. Were they awful?
Yeah, they're awful people.
I'm sorry to hear that. I live in a condo, and my neighbor hates me because we have kids. So I get what it's like having tension like that. Is it tension or is it just like awkward?
It started out as some tension, but it's gotten increasingly awkward. Sure.
I get that. I definitely get that. Okay. So you're looking to sell because you got really bad neighbors? Is that the only reason? Or am I missing something?
Yeah, the neighbors are the driving factor. Yeah.
They're not like part of some cult, are they?
No. I don't think that's the problem.
Okay.
I've just been here a long time.
Mhm. Okay. We'll dive into that later. That's really interesting. I don't want to pry too much unless I'm just gonna ask you one time, gloss over it, fine. What do you think the problem is with them?
They are just disrespectful and awful people. Like I said, I've been here a very long time, and they move in and act like they own the whole place.
They're probably the type to drive down the prices of home values, huh?
Yeah, they're just bad people. Coming in and trying to tell me things, and I've been here a long time.
Okay. So let's say we come to an agreement. How long would you need to move on from the house?
I gotta find someplace new. Like I said, I've been here a very, very long time, and got stuff from one end of the property to another. So it's gonna take a while to get things moved out.
You have stuff from one end to the other. What does that look like?
I fix cars, so there's a lot of cars, and all of my other neighbors in the past haven't had a problem with it. This neighbor here just doesn't like it, and so I've gotta clear stuff out from one end to the other of my property.
Oh, I understand. Okay. That seems a little annoying, I bet, having to have to move all of those if we came to an agreement. So, okay, we'll come to that. So far it sounds like a property we'd be interested in buying. Now, do you mind talking about the condition a little bit?
Sure. What do you want to know?
I'll just rattle off a couple items and then we'll go from there. So we'll start with how's the AC? How old's the AC unit?
It's in good condition. I had it replaced probably 10 years ago.
Electrical?
Yeah, everything's tip top. Everything, I've lived here for 50 years, and I've just replaced things as they've needed to be fixed.
How about the plumbing? Is it PEX or PVC?
I have no clue.
Okay.
It's been updated this century. It's not old from the 1900s.
Oh, okay. And the foundation, is there any issues with that?
Good.
Okay. And then have you done any renovations around the house? If I walk through the front door with you, we go through the front door together and we look around, is there anything that looks newer that you updated?
Like everything's been updated in the last 20 years or so. And the kids have grown up here, they're happy. I'd say it's probably like maybe 2010 was the last time I did the most major updates other than the AC.
Your kids live at home or they move out?
They're freeloaders. They still hanging around the house.
Oh boy. I have two little ones and I would I'm thinking about that day when they're old enough to get kicked out, but I'm not sure if I could do it. So I kind of get where you're at with that. Yeah, that's not easy. So when moving, would we have to find them a place too, or is that taken care of if we come to an agreement?
I mean, they're grown men. They can figure it out themselves.
Is it you and your husband on title or anyone else?
It's just us.
Okay. Yeah, this still sounds like a great property you have here. So my underwriter's out. I can give you a ballpark where we're going to be with that. Are you open to an offer now, or is this your husband should be on the call too to hear this?
I'm open to an offer now. I mean, it's my property and I am going to be the one making the decisions on it. My husband will just do whatever I tell him to do. I wear the pants.
And that is time, ladies and gentlemen. We're ending with Kate's pants.
Yes.
All right,
Good.
ladies and gentlemen. Peter, how you feeling, dog? You feel like you nervous about the numbers? You feeling good about what you did?
No.
What are you thinking?
So I am not nervous about the numbers. They're going to reflect right where I am. So it's just the truth. But I am disappointed that I didn't get further in the conversation. This is generally how I treat all my sellers is in this fashion. So whatever you guys tell me is going to be critical feedback.
It's the self-awareness for me, bro. With that level of self-awareness, I don't really know what else to say. We'll go ahead and start it off with the one and only Jeff Smith. Jeff, what are your thoughts, dude? How do you think Peter did?
Yeah, so Peter, this call was a little stubborn. She's not really, and maybe she was doing it on purpose, probably. She wasn't really being really forthcoming about what was happening. And so what I will do a lot of times is if I feel like the seller is beating around the bush, or like she said like, oh, the neighbors are pissing me off. Yeah. I'll label it and say, hey, I hear you saying that these neighbors are pissing you off, but I'm confused about what's actually happened here. Like I'm missing something. Tell me where I don't understand this. Well, they're just annoying. Like, yeah, but you wouldn't sell a property because your neighbors are annoying. I have a neighbor who's annoying and they have this stupid little dog that I hate. That's not a reason. What am I missing here? And so I might have tried that a little bit, but I thought the intro was fine. I like the way you pivoted like immediately when she said, well, I guess I got to sell. And you were like, okay, well, usually I say something else. Well, tell me what's going on. So I loved you went right after it. So strength of intro, we'll do 4. Rapport building, I think you were on the same. It's an element of rapport building where it seemed that she did trust you in this. She kept on going. She was talking. And I think it's just continuing to strengthen your questions and give yourself permission to dive into it. So guys, whenever I hear someone say, well, do you mind if I ask you this? Or, maybe I'm being nosy. It's like, everybody should be nosy. Be nosy. Make no apologies. So rapport building, I'm also going to give that a 4. I think it was there. You could have gotten to a 5. You just pushed harder into it. Uncovering the motivation. Again, she was being a little stubborn, so I'm going to go with 3 here. There was more to it on the surface of like what the neighbors were arguing about, maybe what she had tried to fix the problem, what other people had, and why she felt the only choice she had now was to sell it. We never quite got that. Overcoming objections. I think because we didn't get through all of the situation, it's kind of hard to say. The only objection she really had at the end was like, well, I wear the pants in the family. It's like, well, that's fine, but he's on title. So we're going to have to deal with that. So I'm going to give that a 3 also. Presentation of solutions. So, I appreciate at least you were starting to tee up the idea like, hey, we might be able to handle this. I think there's an opportunity here. But we never really got into what the solution is. So Daniel, I'm not sure kind of what the scoring mechanism is that you guys have been doing here in the previous rounds.
Go crazy. It's not as strict, right? There's no real consequence here.
Oh, okay. So presentation solution, I'll do 2 here, and then we really don't have a follow-up set because we ran out of time, so it'll be 0.
Boom. All right. Gianmarco Alessandri, our resident Italiano, is going to give his feedback.
All right. Yeah. So for the intro, well, I believe how are you doing? I don't know. I wasn't too sure about that one, but it was a good intro, so 3.5 for sure. Rapport building, I gave it a solid 5. I think he was making jokes. He was there, he was present, he figured out how to get through her a lot. And no, I liked it. I really think that was good. You know, then when it comes to something happened here, but when it comes to fact finding and uncovering motivation, he pushed a lot. I feel like he pushed a lot, but he didn't get there. I think it was 70% there, so I give a 3.7. Working the pushbacks, yeah. So the objections, he had one strong objection. I think he navigated that very nicely. So I give a 3 for that. Presenting solutions, he got that at the end, the last 30 seconds. So I give a 1 for that and a 1 for the closing because he didn't get there either. So, I mean, I'm sure we're.
All right. Alon. It's all resting on you, bro. So no pressure. We cannot hear a word you're saying, dog. Fix it. Can you close your mouth and fix it? There you go.
Okay, perfect. I really liked Jeff's feedback. I agree with a lot of it. But let's just dive into it, go one by one. Strength of intro. I'll give it 3.5. I don't remember exactly how it went. I just remember it wasn't very fast. Yeah, it just wasn't fast enough. I think it was like an unnecessary question there. Correct me if I'm wrong. Now rapport building. So I feel like you were very easy to talk to, like you're very pleasant. And I feel like the way you asked your questions was very, made the seller comfortable. However, and this was just Kate's personality type, I just didn't get a feel that Kate is like, oh, this guy just gets me. Like, we're just connecting on this level. Even if she doesn't like necessarily love you as a person, just the feeling that she's being deeply understood. Problem with a seller like Kate, I couldn't tell you exactly what was the missing piece, but I did feel that. But she was a little stubborn. She was a little bit difficult. She was not very happy to share as much, a lot of information. So you did have to deal with that, and I think you did a good job dealing with that. It just wasn't perfect. So I'll give you a 4. And I think uncovering motivation. So this basically would be the same explanation. I think you got some of it, but not all of it. I'll give you 3.5. Overcoming objections. I don't feel like there were any objections. Maybe as mentioned, the husband or the getting her stuff out. I don't know. It's pretty neutral. I'll just give it 2.5 for both objections and solutions, and I feel like we didn't get that far. And follow up that didn't exist. I'll just give a neutral 2.
What did you have for the presentation?
Excuse me?
Solutions.
Oh, 2.5. 2.5, and then for follow up 2 that didn't really exist.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. 51.2. Peter, here's my feedback, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. Can I be honest with you, Peter?
I expect nothing less.
All right, I appreciate you. Every single one of these people were more generous than I would have been if I was scoring you. And you know why? Because I've been doing this for a little while, and I just hold you to a higher standard. And I don't think that this is as good as you can perform. I just don't think that, right? I did not like your intro because it was like, I don't like the how are you doing today? I don't like that. I think it's a stupid and unnecessary question, but it's not necessarily a deal breaker. Some people pull it off and the conversation goes fine. So I don't need to be dogmatic about that. What I didn't like about the way you do it, you're like, hey, is this Kate? Hi, this is Peter. How are you doing? Or you were like, hey, is this Kate? How are you doing? Or something like that. It was just weird. There was like no purpose to that. And I felt like even she was kind of like, yeah, who is this? Like, why are you here, bro? So it's just like, okay, that was a weird way to start the call, but I don't know if you normally do it like that, if you were just nervous. That was weird.
I do, and every time it's a weird answer, but no one hangs up from that. So I just keep doing it, even though it's weird. I haven't perfected it, but it's enough for me to keep talking and get a shot at the sale.
All right. Well, if weird is working for you right now, let's do that. And so we could that works. All right, we'll give you that. Here's what I noticed. This was what was interesting. You meandered around the point for like the first 90 seconds. And then I was like, okay, he's doing what most people do, which we talked about already today. Like, just ask the hard questions. Talk about what nobody wants to talk about, right? And then you finally did. You were like, hey, you preambled it way too much. You were like, oh, you may or may not like this, and you may not like me when I edit it, right? And it's just like, just ask the question, bro. But you finally asked. Here's the thing. She didn't give you a full answer, and you accepted it. That's what I didn't like. Now, you stumbled on it a little bit later, almost by accident, but I felt like if you're going to be bold enough to ask the hard question, be bold enough to either acknowledge when they didn't answer it or demand the answer. But I think you said something along the lines of, oh, okay, that's an interesting answer, and then you just moved on, right? There is an art to being able to put pressure delicately and respectfully and just demand that, hey, so just out of curiosity, Jeff said it perfectly, right? Like, the way Jeff did it is exactly like something along those lines. You don't have to use those exact words. There's 100 different ways in that world you could say it. Like, just, I got to ask you, right? Like, this seems like a really, really big decision for annoying neighbors. Like, talk to me. Like, what's really the problem here? And let's assume she doesn't answer the question. Let's just say she it's just weird. You know what I'm going to say 8 times out of 10, Peter? I'm going to be honest with you. It sounds like you're still holding back. And that's fine. If you don't want to share with me, I won't pry. We'll move forward. I just need you to know that if I'm going to help you the best I can, I need to have full understanding about what's going on. That being said, talk to me about, and then I would have transitioned to what's your best case scenario? You transition to how old's your air conditioner? I don't know what value that added to the conversation. And I think even she felt was like, okay, I guess this is something we can talk about. And you kind of like just went on that road and it started sounding very interviewy. Here's what it sounded like.
Yeah.
You knew you needed to ask questions. And so you just kept looking for questions to ask. And your conversation became question driven instead of purpose driven. And I could feel that in the conversation. I'll let Kate speak for herself. It felt like Kate could feel that because you can start to see and just hear in their responses when they're feeling that kind of way. I would just say, learn to get out of your head and be more intentional. That's an easy thing to say. It's a harder thing to teach. It's a harder thing to point out. But I think that he's beating his kids right now in a car. Like, don't make me pull this thing over. You can't say beating your kids in 2024, can you? That's not an appropriate thing to say. He is not beating his kids. He is offering his kids a safe space to think about their actions while he's driving as a appropriate parent. Y'all already know where I grew up. If a parent looks back in the road and you see the voice getting raised, you already know what's happening at that point. Anyways, that's the feedback. Yeah, that's the summary, bro. I think if you just intentionality, getting out of your head, that would be the big takeaway. But good stuff, bro. I would have just repurposed some questions. What are your thoughts on all the stuff, all the feedback, all the things?
My thoughts are I need to be direct, like you and Jeff said, about just hit the if I know it's awkward, I need to bring it up. When I know something's off, neighbors, I have to move. Like, I just need to address it. If it's funny to me, just go with my gut. And the reason why I was saying like, oh, it sounds like the neighbors driving the price down, was to tie it in later when I have to do the offer calls. Like you said, they are ruining the neighborhood. So I was just going to kind of put it back and package it. And the condition of the home, it was more for the purpose of dropping down. It's more than just cosmetics and validating what value I can bring, and based on what she said, so to tie it all in. But those neighbors, yeah, when the very beginning, I should have called it out. So that's my biggest takeaway, is hitting the awkwardness immediately, elephant in the room, and don't skip it, and do it quick.
Yeah, and stay there. Like, here's the thing. We try our best to avoid awkward situations and conversations. I'm going to tell y'all right now, if y'all learn to get really comfortable in those awkward places, there's money there. just get really, really comfortable sitting there in that weird silence, like looking at him like, I'll wait. Jeff, am I wrong, dog? Like, is there not money in that awkward silence?
No, for those of you who are here and you've been learning from Daniel, like the level up from lead manager to closer is being able to endure those awkward moments, is being able to endure the discomfort. Like that is the biggest level up. Like your ability to ask questions, your ability to understand them. Yes, you do need to understand that, but you need to be able to endure that discomfort and awkward scenario and push someone to make a decision. And that's hard.
Good stuff, Peter. Good stuff, bro. Be safe. Don't get child services on the phone, dog. That's all I'm saying. Like, I got you. I ain't gonna say nothing. You know what I mean? You gotta do what you gotta do. But all right. Let me pull someone up here. All right, let me pull Jim Marco's let me pull out Paul Jim Marco. Let me put Jack. You cool to jump back in? We're gonna let Lindsay go.
Yeah,
Lindsay and I are gonna go head to head.
Let's go.
Okay, you good to go?
Yes. I was making,
All right.
because we both have head in our name, I was making a joke.
At least your last name is not
versus
Moorhead.
Whitehead.
Yes.
Go to
Head to head.
Yeah, go to high school with my last name. See what happens.
That's got to be tough. All of the jokes just downloaded in my brain from your entire childhood, like in 3 seconds. That's tough. That's how you know.
Great.
That's how you know Lindsay got thick skin. You don't come out the other side of that without thick skin. This one, I think this is unique enough.
Just for a heads up, I only call pre-foreclosures.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
And I was thinking, do you have one?
Should we do a pre-foreclosure? Okay, what's going to be more helpful to you, Lindsay? So do something completely random out the blue, or do a pre-foreclosure?
A pre-foreclosure.
Okay, what is your most difficult thing to overcome? Like, what do you struggle the most with?
But getting people to answer the phone.
Okay, after that, I think we all struggle with that.
I mean, I just getting them. I don't know. Well, whatever works. Anything new, whatever you want.
I think Lindsay has to get to a point of taking that one level deeper into motivation, to the point where they're like, oh my God, please help me.
Can I adapt the one we did for Adon last week to be a pre-foreclosure?
As my memory is serving me greatly, have no idea.
I'll send it to you.
Take your word for it. Okay.
All right, I just sent it. I sent one word and see if you can get it this time. Because I kind of want to run that one again. And I think it's adaptable to be a pre-foreclosure.
All right, bet.
Shut up.
Are you having me judge for this one?
Yeah, you want to do it?
Yeah, I'm down.
We'll let
can I get the motivation?
Yeah, I don't even have it yet. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. That's good. I don't even know what you're doing here, but I'm gonna just.
I don't
trust
know
you.
either. I don't know.
You got this. This is, oh my God, this is amazing.
The last one was hard for me. The motivation was off the wall.
This is good.
See if I can adapt this one.
All right. All right, Al. You good, bro, or are you busy? Should I let Eddie do it? You good? Awkward thumbs up. I got you. All right, Jack. You remember this one, bro? Yeah, Al, you remember this one?
I don't know that Al was here for it.
Was he not? What was he doing?
I think
Pimping
he may have
leads?
missed it.
He was pimping leads. Jack, do you remember it?
Could you type like a sentence explaining this? Like, I don't know what that means.
Daniel, can you find the actual motivation? Because that's all I've got.
Nah, just wing it. We'll figure it out.
You
you remember? Yeah, don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. I
I'm
think.
typing.
Okay, yeah, send it to me. This one's fun. This is good. We'll figure it out. Whether we get it or not, we'll throw it at the end. So, correct. Jeff, I'm gonna send you more or less a summary.
Cool.
Travis, what's going on, big dog? Nice to see you, homie.
I don't know if you guys can see this. It doesn't look too good on Zoom.
Is that hamburgers? You making dinner for
You
everybody?
cooking?
I am. It's like.
Is it like an Israeli hamburger or just like a regular hamburger?
No, it's like kebab, but like round. Hold on.
Or like a hamburger?
It's like tiny burgers, but they have more spice than you could handle.
Sliders.
Why are you assuming we can't handle the spice?
It's very racist.
I'm challenging you.
I will accept that challenge.
Al looks like he goes in a little bit in the kitchen. You guys ever seen those small cows? That's what those small cows, the little cute ones. That's where sliders come from. Jeff, do you got a gist for this thing?
Yeah, that'll be an interesting one.
I don't really. I apologize in advance that I got myself into this, but
I'm really interested to see how you
Kate?
put one up.
Kate, do not mess this up for me. I'm excited about where this can go.
All right, good stuff. Lindsay, you got the gist, right? You know what we're doing, right?
Yeah, I don't seem to have as much of a gist as everybody else, but we'll get there hopefully.
Okay, you know the scoring criteria, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, you got when you say ring ring, she says hello. 6 minutes, make beauty be beautiful.
Ring ring.
Hello?
Hey, it's Lindsay. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's up?
Hey, I apologize. My phone's been giving me problems all day. So I'm just following up with you after you talked to Michael from Tiffany and Bosco. And my job is to just follow up after him and make sure he gave you all your options.
Okay, great. I'm ready to hear those options.
Yeah. How'd that conversation go with Michael?
My conversation with Michael was good. I've been having a lot of conversations lately, and that was one a better one. So,
well, that's good. That's awesome. So is this a good time? You probably don't have 3 to 5 minutes to talk about the solutions, do you? Hang on, sir. Hang on, Charlie.
I definitely have 3 to 5 minutes to have a conversation. Yeah, I don't have much longer than that, but that'll work.
Okay. And I'm trying to figure out like what are your goals for the house? Are you looking to stay there or are you looking to sell it?
I would love to stay in it, but that's just not going to be possible for me at this time. It's just on top of some financial stuff. It's just a prominent house, and like you can Google map it and find it with my, Bronco parked in the yard, and it's time for me to move on.
Okay. When you say prominent house, what do you mean by that?
It's just on a very busy area that it's easy to locate, and I'm hoping to be a little bit more private going forward.
Okay. Are you safe right now? Like when you say that?
Yes, I'm safe.
Okay. What's going on that, you feel like you need to be in hiding, if you will?
Just some legal stuff that's come up, and I don't know if
Hang on, Charlie. Go ahead. Sorry.
You're fine. Yeah, just some legal stuff that's come up, and I would like to be a little more private going forward.
Okay. Do you have all your legal stuff under control? Like, do you have an attorney working with you and everything with that?
Yeah, I've got Johnny and Robert on speed dial, and we're getting it worked.
Okay. Other than the legal stuff, and it sounds like for you, staying might not be the best idea. Get you somewhere a little more private. Is there anything else going on other than, just trying to find somewhere a little more private?
I got to be able to pay these legal bills too, and it's just the mortgage is not taking priority at this time.
Okay, and I understand that. What is your best case scenario going forward here? Like, what do you need?
I need to be able to pay my bills and just be more private, and that's the best goals for me at this point.
Okay. And then do you have any idea how many payments behind you are?
Probably 3 months. That sounds about right with the timeline of things.
Okay. And then if you were making those payments on time, how much would they be?
It's like, I don't know. I mean, my ex-wife was taking care of that. I think it was like 4,500 a month, something like
Okay.
that.
Okay. And then you say your ex-wife, is it just you on the deed or is it you and her?
At this point, I'm the only one on the deed.
Okay. Is she on the mortgage at all?
No, no, bought the house before I married her.
Okay. All right. And then you guys have any kids together?
Yeah, we have adult children.
Okay. Hang on one second.
Yes, baby.
Guess how kangaroos can jump?
6 feet. All right. I love you. I'll be with you in just a second. Okay, baby. I love you. She says, guess how far kangaroos can jump. Thank you. That was very important. So you've got adult kids. Are they living in the house with you right now?
They live in the guest house.
Okay. How many how many buildings are on your property there?
It's the main house and then the guest pool house.
Okay. And then so your payments are 4,500 a month, and if the mortgage, how much is left on that?
I don't even know. Probably a couple million. I don't know. That's not really my job.
Okay. What do you do for work?
I used to be an athlete. I'm retired now.
Awesome. What sport did you play?
A little bit of football.
Okay. That's awesome. And then it sounds like you are having problems paying that $4,500 a month. So if you were able to get those back payments caught up, you couldn't afford that payment right now?
No, I'm with the legal stuff that's been happening. I'm not getting the endorsement deals that I used to get. So
okay. You keep referring to the legal stuff. You're okay? Like, what's going on with that?
I'm great. I'm great. Yeah, other people have other opinions, but I'm great.
Okay. And then going forward, like, it sounds like selling the house is probably your best option to get somewhere where you're comfortable. What does that number look like for you for cash in your pocket?
I just, as long as I can get those lawyers paid and continue down that path, I don't know, probably like $1 million would be great, but I'm just trying to get it sold before I have more.
And that is time, ladies and gentlemen.
But what did you do?
You can't ask after the call, Lindsay. You gotta ask during the call.
I did, but then she kept not saying, so I didn't want to offend her.
Did you hear that I had a Bronco parked outside?
Yes, that didn't mean anything.
Did you
to
ask
me.
what color the Bronco was?
Oh, was it white?
It was white. And then it all comes together.
Yep.
Also, you're dating
Yep.
yourself a little bit, just so you know, because there's a lot of people
That's
who did not. They were like, "But who?"
I think Adon may have thought I meant an actual horse. Like when I listened to it back, I was like, "Oh shoot, I don't know."
Yeah, Jeff, I know exactly what you meant about the digging deep part. Okay,
It's the thing that most people struggle with.
It is. And I kept seeing, and then it was just, but we'll talk about it. Jack, let's let you go first, bro. Jack, you see with the thoughtful.
Yeah. I had to get the rest of it in line. There's
All
still
right.
one that I'm missing, but I'll figure it out. Okay. I like this one. I like this one a lot. So, let's see. Can you pull up the criteria just so I can look as we do it?
Oh, yeah, my bad.
All right. So for your intro, I got a question for you actually. Is this how you do all of your calls? Like, do you copy and paste the same intro by like kind of doing that catch them off guard, being like, "Can you hear me?" That thing. Do you do that for all your calls?
Not all of them. Some of them though.
Some of them, okay. I get the approach. I'm not a big fan of it. So I gave you a 2, just because it's not very intentional. It just didn't sound like it would grab my attention and make me want to stay on the phone. Let's see. For rapport building, I gave you a 2 just because it didn't seem very strong. It didn't seem like you really made an effort to connect with this person or really kind of get their trust. And I think that does matter quite a bit, especially with this kind of seller. By building a bit, it's a longer process to build rapport with a seller like this, but I think it's even more.
You said 2 is 2 on intro or is 2 on rapport?
It's 2 for both.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Fact finding, I gave you a 2.5 because you did have good questions. You weren't able to hit it on the head, which this one, I really don't think that any seller that's in this position is going to say it over the phone. So I think there's only so much that you can do. And you did push through some potentially uncomfortable questions, especially at the beginning. So, matter of fact, I'm gonna put that at a 3 for fact finding. Put that at a 3, yeah, okay. Just because I like the questions. And it kind of sounded like it reminded me of like a friendly voice that was just collecting information. I don't know how to phrase it, but that's just what it like resonated with me as. So for number 4, I actually gave you a 3. Yeah, I gave you a 3 for this. And the biggest thing was actually nothing to do with the seller, but when it comes to overcoming objections, I don't just classify that as the seller. Having your daughter come in and ask you a question and then you not getting thrown off your game, I think that's overcoming an objection. Even though it's not from the seller, that's just going to be in your environment. When you're on these calls, stuff is going to happen. So to not let that throw you off your game, man, that's an objection and you overcame it. So I'm going to give you a 3 for that. Where are we at? Oh, and then presenting solutions. I'm going to give you a 1 just because I don't really think we got there. And same with strength of close and follow up. A 0.
Very, very good. I need to know, Lindsay, how far do kangaroos jump?
Apparently 30 feet. She says 40,
30
but
feet.
Eddie and Travis both say 30 feet.
Okay, so you're automatically not taking the side of your child.
That's 30 feet high, and 45 feet is actually distance. So she's right.
All right, fair.
Yeah,
I like it.
My kid agreed with your kid, Lindsay.
Why okay, so is it kangaroo season in young people's school or something? Like, Eddie, why do you know so much about freaking kangaroos, dog? You coming in here like you're an authority on kangaroo hopping.
I just Googled it, bro. I'm going to be honest.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
You should know. I would have just kept that to myself, bro. I would have said something else. All right, Jeff, what you got, bro?
All right. So intro, I kind of agree with Jack. I'll do 2.5. We can kind of move on from that. So this is where, Lindsay, like you and I, we always talk about your next level up. The next level up I want you to start to explore is bringing your emotions into the situation and your empathy. So when Kate starts talking about, even if I want you to just crank that dial up to 11. So yeah, I'm going through some legal challenge. Holy hell, you're going through legal challenges? Oh my God. Tell me what's going on. How can I help? And she'll say something. Oh, I mean, I'm running from the police. What it doesn't matter. Holy crap. Like, we need to get this. Like, yeah, you have my full attention. Like, how do I help? So bring that out now. And it probably, for a lot of people when they get started, it feels exaggerated. And so this is where I'm going to also go with a 2 on the rapport. There's a couple things I want you to take advantage. You have this huge advantage with your kids running around. You don't even know it yet. Right? So everyone, when you get interrupted by children's pets, your psycho neighbor, whatever it is, work that in. It's such a huge rapport boost, like you wouldn't believe. Like, hey, sorry about that. Just my kid ran around talking about, kangaroo jumping length, and I'm here talking about, lawsuits. You got any kids? Oh, you don't have any kids? They just ask the funniest questions sometimes. Kind of nice little breaking the ice things. So anyway, that's Rachel or whatever, and just work it into it. Okay. So again, like other things she comes up with, so I've got this $4,500 payment. You are stuck with this $4,500 payment. Oh my God. She says this other thing like, well, it's not really my job to deal with this. And this is where now you bring out the emotion of pain. It's like, you're right. This wasn't supposed to be your job, but now it is. And what happens if we don't address it and this ton of bricks falls on you? Right? So you're going to use that intensity of emotion and the heaviness that you can do also. Okay. So in order to do that, it's kind of like I was telling Peter, it's like start labeling it. Like, hey, I hear you talking about this legal thing you're facing. It sounds intense. Like, help me understand, like, how did this happen? And I think that's where a lot of us will shy away sometimes. But if you start using that in your vocal tone, Lindsay, because I think a lot of us worry about being fake. So if you bring in with this genuine concern, she'll open up to you. Even if she pushes back, it's like, well, I don't feel comfortable. It's like, look, I hear you. This is uncomfortable, but I can tell this is a big deal and I want to help. Help me understand what's happening. And she'll open up. Okay. So fact finding, uncovering, I'll also go with a 3. I think same thing. Like we just got to drill down a couple more layers, overcoming objections, same thing for the same reasons. Really, I'm going to agree with Jack on the rest of his scoring, actually.
All right. Very good stuff. Leave me alone.
What up?
All right, Pumpkin. You ready? Let's go. Bring it.
Bro, Jeff is so refreshing.
Jeff is refreshing?
Yes. His
cute.
input. Yeah, because it's different, but it's really good. Usually it's different and not so good. So
okay.
having both is really cool.
Did you just diss the other judges?
I think that
No,
he just
Ouch.
shit on the other judges.
Not
but
specific.
It was to compliment you, Jeff. So in fairness,
hold on.
I'm so glad you're not as bad as the rest of these idiots.
let me clarify. I wasn't dissing just the judges. I was dissing just everybody in general. So
okay,
does that make you
better?
That's better. You cleaned that right up, Al. Good job, dog.
Okay.
Jeff, you get a 5 for refreshing.
Yeah, because I feel like if I how to say that, like equally offend everybody, then it's not as bad. But either way, let's just focus on the good things that I just just the compliment that I just gave Jeff. Thank you. So opening the intro, I actually didn't hate it. It's an interesting, kind of pattern interrupt. The only problem is that sometimes it's just not going to work. For example, if somebody doesn't have time to be on the phone with you, then he's not going to necessarily appreciate you asking him if he can hear you well. Just get to the point. But it wasn't cringy or weird. It's it could be a genuine question that also implies that you're supposed to be on the phone. Like if you're asking, hey, can you hear me well, that implies that you're supposed to be there. So that's why I didn't hate it. Also, right after that, I mean, you went straight to the point. You went straight to the point right after that question. So I'll give you a 3.5 for the intro. Rapport. I think that's where you could have done more. So, I mean, here's the situation. I feel like it kind of felt like sometimes you were interrogating her, but it was compensated by you just being very easy to talk to and being very human. So, and like Jack said, I mean, you having your kids, I mean, these kind of stuff just kind of, bring their walls down so that it's not as bad. But think about it this way. Let's say, I mean, Kate is it turned out that she was famous or something, and she used to be an athlete. She used to be this big shot. She has this beautiful house. So she's probably in her life used to having professional people helping her out. Like, let's think about this, like her like legal situation. I'm sure that she has super professional people helping her out through this. So that's an opportunity for you to be that person with this house. You are like the real estate professional that's helping her out through that. And when you just keep asking and asking and asking questions, you're never able to show that. You're never able to show like what you actually know, no matter how good your questions are. So that's what I thought about the rapport building. So, you had some good stuff in there, but definitely room to improve. I'll give you a 3.
That was very insightful feedback, Al, by the way.
Thank you. Was it refreshing?
Yeah. I don't know if I laughed for
Absolutely.
it, but oh, Jeff thinks it was refreshing. All right, there you go.
See, Jeff appreciates me, please. Uncovering motivation. Like we slowly got there, but it never got to the point where it's like, okay, we got this going on. I got this going on. Like all this stuff is happening to me. Like she never opened up that much. So I'll give you a 3. Objections. Were there any objections? Can't
Not
remember.
really.
I'm gonna trust my fellow judges and give you a 3, and then solutions 1. I guess follow up 1.
Boom. All right. Here's my why is this not adding up? What the hell is happening here? Did I break it? I must have broke it. Here is my feedback on all this. Before I say that, any thoughts so far, Lindsay?
No, I think they're all 100% right. And I feel like the last guy was just you and channeled my inner, I'm fighting the interrogating questions because that's my background. So trying to make that a human conversation more so than these are the answers I need to get and this is the time frame I need to get it in. That is a big hurdle for me as well.
Yeah, I mean, so that's literally what my response is, right? So my feedback on this is exactly the same thing I said earlier today. Most of us think that step 1 when we get into this business is learn your script. Step 2, learn your process, and then go from there, right? Maybe we get into rapport and then good question asking. This is the thing that we think is our order of operations. The reality is that's not true. Step 1 is always you. Step 1 is always, how do I navigate my BS? And what does that mean? Whether that's the habits that I have that cause me to make excuses when I'm not actually making seller calls. It's the apprehension I have to ask the hard questions. Wherever I go, I'm always going to show up. And if I'm not willing to make space for that reality so I can solve for it, you're going to find yourself learning a bunch of tools and tactics and resources that only serve you at a fraction of their capacity because they're only as good as the delivery mechanism. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if you go to war with the world's most fantastic tactical rounds of ammunition. If you're using a slingshot to deliver them, they're only going to accomplish so much. They're only going to go so far. You have to be the most powerful delivery mechanism, and that means you got to clean your weapon. You got to clean that stuff out. You got to be willing to make sure that the delivery mechanism, which is you, is prepared to deliver the power of the message that you're trying to deliver. And if you aren't ready, the message can fall flat. And this is where I would say this, whatever it is inside of Lindsay that's making you pull back when you should push forward. And I'm sure there's a couple of things, and I'm sure inherently some of them you know off the top of your head, and some of them, if you reflect, might be a little deeper. This is the tough part about this that most people don't even want to talk about. But whatever those things are, that is the dam that's stopping the water from flowing. Because there's no question you're willing to do the work. There's no question that you're actually, you're capable of getting the job done and getting it across the finish line. But it was just the whole time I was like, is this when she's going to ask the question? Is this when she's going to, and you started like you were going to, and then you just took a hard left. And it was just like, it was always right there. And to the point that we've made here 100 times tonight, like this is everybody's problem. Right. Like I would argue I'm not bad on the phones, and I'm sure there's a lot of things that make me decent on the phones. Sure. There's a lot of good people on the phones. But if I were to say one thing that differentiates me, is I just got no problem just digging into the stuff nobody wants to talk about. And I do it in such a way that it doesn't feel awkward, because it's only a big deal if you make it a big deal. You would be amazed at the stuff you could get away with talking to sellers about if you just asked it. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to do that this week. Maybe tomorrow we'll do it. It'll be tomorrow or Thursday. We're going to switch up this week. We're not going to just do the same thing every day. We're switching this up. We're going to have an uncomfortable questions day, uncomfortable conversations day. The whole thing is how we navigate weird ass conversations to make you feel so overwhelmingly awkward. And we're going to talk about it. And I'm going to come up with a way to just make you guys say the most awkward things and get comfortable with it. That's the next challenge. We're either doing it tomorrow or Thursday. I think we'll mix it up a little bit this week. We'll do this. We're going to do variations of it, because this is just where we live. This is really where it comes down to. And Lindsay, you're just right there. And I have intuition. I have some intuition as to where I think it might be, but that's neither here nor there. I think once you get past that the other thing is just, it's kind of like Jalen's situation. Unfortunately, I don't know that this is something that is switched overnight. Some things, guys, when you're trying to learn, some things, it's just a tactic. I remember when Al first joined my community, Al fought me. He was like, yeah, but my process is this and my process is that, la da da. And he was like, he almost didn't even join the community because he was so married to his process. His first day he came in here and he was like, all right, well, I got to throw all of that into the garbage and I'm going to try something different. But for him, it was like overnight. It just clicked for him and it made sense. And he was able to remove the human process and just get into the tactical process. And all of a sudden you saw the drastic change, in so much that the people were like, well, we just need to figure out how to learn it the way Al does it. Right. And now it doesn't even work anymore. It just has everybody work for him. But this is the thing. Some things are going to be overnight. Some things are going to take a work in progress. But either way, I think it was good. I agree with Jeff, like bring in the kids. I would have 100% had a whole conversation with the seller about kangaroos. We would have talked about kangaroos at least for a good 30 to 60 seconds. We would have had a kangaroo conversation. But yeah, I think it was good. Very, very good, Lindsay. If you hang out with us for the rest of this week, I'd be interested. We'll throw you up in one of the harder ones and see if we can push you out of your comfort zone a little bit.
I love it. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Good stuff. Kate, what are your thoughts as OJ Simpson, which nobody picked up on? What was what's your final feedback on that?
I mean, I think Lindsay did a great job. That was definitely a tough, like I would not have gotten far with that seller. I would have really, really wanted to know what was going on, but I would not have been able to ask those difficult questions about like, why do you keep saying legal fees? So, like, why is your house being prominent a problem? Like, anyway, so great job, and great job stepping up and putting yourself out there.
Oh, heck yeah. I appreciate you.
All right, guys, let's do one more before we bounce, and we're gonna make it interesting the rest of the week. Big announcement coming Thursday. I'm excited. Anybody else want to do one more before we take off? Final go at the thing. Let's see, what do we got? Al, you want to go, bro? You want to redeem yourself, dog?
Or fail. Let's see.
Redeem yourself or fail. I'm here for it. Did you finish your little baby burgers?
Yeah, I already ate half of them.
You ate half. I'm not gonna lie. Seeing you with a spatula in your hand, giving feedback on role play calls, I don't really know if there's much more that a person can ask for in
Like
life.
all the multitasking.
Yeah, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. We need to replace a judge. Rodolfo. No, Rodolfo's probably on the call. I'm not gonna bother Rodolfo. So we got Jeff. Who else can we bring in? Kate, you want to just judge since you're the seller? I don't want to judge.
Sure, I could do it.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it like that. We'll be you, Jeff.
It means I have to pay attention to what I'm saying, but
Would you want me to do it? I can do it.
no,
I'll do it.
I'll do it.
You sure? All right.
I don't know. And Randy's there. Does Randy want to judge?
Actually, let me do it.
Okay.
Randy, Leo, let me know if Randy wants to judge. Maybe Randy can do some judging tomorrow. I'm gonna judge. I'm coming for Al. Al, get ready, dog. Kate, do you have anything specific in mind, or should I just throw something towards you?
Just send me something. I think we've redone almost all of them at this point. So we could see how well he's paying attention. I could run the same scenario so he catches on.
He probably wouldn't.
I'll just throw American pop culture references out there and he'll be completely lost.
All right. Kate, here we go. What do you think about this one? Or okay, Kate, tell me which one. I'm going to send you this one or this one.
I'm going to go the first one because I think that one's going to be harder for me.
Which
Ooh, oh, I don't know. With your follow-up. Oh, those are both. Okay, we're going to do the second one.
You going to do the second one?
Yes.
All right, bet. Let's see if we can figure this out. This is going to be good. All right, here we go. Jack, you ready? I'm going to send it to you. And then, Kate, if you end up needing me to judge, just let me know. I'll pay attention just in case.
Okay.
And then, Jeff, here we go.
Ring, ring.
Wait, hold on. I don't have the timer up, bro. Relax. You ain't even finished swallowing your meat.
Ball start. That's a football reference.
Ball start. Flag on the
Hello?
play. He's answering his own phone call. All right, just go ahead, bro. I'm ready now.
Excuse me. All right, Kate, you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right, ring, ring.
Hello?
Hey, Kate, my name is Al. Looks like you submitted a form on our website saying that you're interested in selling the house on Banana Street. Is that right?
Yeah, I use the internet.
Okay. Well, talk to me a little bit if you don't mind. What has you interested in selling that house right now?
Well, I've lived here my whole adult life. I got married at 20 years old, and this is the Sears Roebuck build house. And it's time for me to see if somebody else might want it. I love this house. It's beautiful. Did I say it was Sears Roebuck? Because it's Sears Roebuck made the best houses.
Wow. And you say you lived there your whole life?
Since I was 20 years old, and I married my husband, Mr. Whitehead, and we just raised our whole family here. Very traditional family. Got our kids, and it's just a beautiful house with a tire swing and the front yard. And my husband helped me build it with Sears Roebuck.
Wow. Well, there must be so many memories there.
Yes, it's a wonderful home, and I've always loved this home.
Well, Kate, I gotta ask, you lived there your whole life. Why? What's changed that you're now looking to sell it?
Well, all my neighbors are dead.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear.
It's just me here, and it's a bunch of new people moving in. All the neighbors are dead.
Were those your friends? Were you friends with the neighbors?
Yes, they were my friends. We all raised our kids together.
Wow. Well, that must be tough. Wow. Can't imagine what that feels like. Probably that doesn't feel like the same place.
No, it's not the same place it was.
Yeah. Those new people, what exactly do you mean by that?
It's just they don't have the same values that I have, and I'm ready to move into one of those places where I can get my hair done and play bingo with some old older folks like me. You sound young, like maybe you're my grandson's age.
Right. No, yeah, you remind me I am young, and you remind me a little bit of my grandma, but I'm sorry, Kate. Sounds like there's some noise here that's making it hard to hear. But yeah, so you're it sounds like you just kind of gonna want to get closer to people that share the same values with you. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, the same values. Values are very important to me.
Right. I see. I mean, what are those new neighbors doing there? I mean, is it that terrible?
Well, yeah. I mean, they're not married and they're living together next door. And across the street, there's a family that I'm pretty sure they run drugs.
Oh, well, that can be fun, huh? Wow. Well, I mean, Kate, let's see how I could help here. I mean, we're always looking to buy houses. What would be your best case scenario with selling this one?
I mean, I'm on a fixed income, so I need to be able to afford my next property. And I want it to be a nice, safe property without the drug neighbors nearby.
Sure. Of course. Yeah, I mean, if you decide to move, then it has to be somewhere, safer with people that you actually like. Otherwise, we wouldn't have
People that, people like me. That's important.
Right. No, that makes sense to me. That makes sense to me. Okay. And do you have anywhere in mind, or would you, need some time to, maybe find a place like that?
I hear there's a lot of good people down in Florida.
Florida. Interesting. Okay. I mean, Florida is quite expensive. Have you looked into that?
I have not, but I just know that there's people like me, and that, the drug people won't be in those neighborhoods if I can
Right.
go to a retirement neighborhood there.
Gotcha. Is there any family you have is there anything specific about Florida that is important to you?
Yes, my grandson that you remind me of lives in Florida. He lives in Orlando. He works for that Mickey Mouse in Orlando, and he's such a good boy. He went to college. He graduated from college. And now he works for that Mickey Mouse.
I gotcha. Okay. Well, I mean, it definitely sounds like, being closer to your grandson could, wouldn't be a bad thing. I think, it probably mean to you. Now, I mean, so here's what I'm hearing, Kate. I mean, obviously it sounds like the place you are at right now, it has changed. It's not the same. And you're looking for somewhere to move to, which, just kind of give you a quieter and more peaceful life. But you're not entirely sure where that would be. My question is, if we could come in and or I could come in and forget about this house. Let's say we made an agreement on buying this house. Would it be of any help if I could actually help you find a new place? I know you said you're in a fixed income, so obviously something that's going to be manageable.
And that is time, damas y caballeros. Kate, I'm definitely judging this one.
Okay. I mean, I basically was my own grandmother, so just
that tells me a lot about you, Kate.
She's very sweet, your grandmother.
Oh, was she? Okay.
just a little racist, but very
all right, Daryl E, what's going on, big dog? We gotta stop, take a minute to say what's up to my guy here.
Thank you. What's up, bro?
Bro, I feel like I ain't seen you in like 8 years, dog.
Have my head down, bro. Just grinding.
Handling business.
Handling business, bro. How are you?
Living a dream, bro. Just out here doing the things. You know how it is, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Head's looking shinier than ever.
As shiny as it can be, right? Yeah, it's just like, I mean, I gotta before each Zoom. Yo, where you at now, bro? Like you've been
turtle
like
wax.
It is turtle wax, exactly.
I'm back in Phoenix.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we gotta connect, bro. I'm interested in hearing. I seen you post a couple of things. I know you're doing a lot of stuff. I want to hear some updates, bro.
Yes, sir, bro. Just got deals, dude. Got deals. I just eliminated like every distraction that I had, sold all my houses, and just focusing strictly on wholesaling right now.
That's fire, bro.
It's been good, bro.
That's huge. We gonna be out here the rest of this week. You gonna come through?
You're gonna what out in here?
Yeah, here doing this.
Yeah, I'll be here. I'll pull up. What time? What time do they start?
1 Mountain Time. I may do it a little earlier, depending on the day, but officially 1 o'clock Mountain. So 12 your time.
Well, yeah, 12 Arizona.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'll stop in.
I bet you can judge some of these things. Daryl's an OG. Daryl been doing this for a hot minute.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
I bet. Nice seeing you, homie.
All right, bro.
All right. How do we want to do this further? Jeff, give us your thoughts, dog. I'm gonna pull
Okay.
up the sheet. I have a lot to say here, but I'm gonna wait.
Yeah. So I'm detecting a theme here today. The theme is that all of us are having a hard time diving into the problems and getting specifics. And I know kind of in the chat there's like, oh, it's the racist grandma or whatever. And even though we hear hints of it, we don't actually know. Is that what's happened? Or is it like Jason Lombardi's area where you got a bunch of meth heads running everywhere? We don't actually know. And so there is a point where we got to get people to give us specifics. Okay. So that's why, like, you know, when we think about closing people and understanding their problems, we gotta know what are the potential problems that they could be dealing with, so that when we start hearing them give off these symptoms, we're like, oh, okay, here's what's actually going on. Because I feel like it took us a while to get there. So Al, when you're speaking with her and she starts, well, I don't like these folks in the neighborhood. I don't like this thing. I don't like this drug thing. It's like, okay, like paint me a picture specifically. What happened and how is it impacting you? And so a lot of times, guys, we hear these people beating around the bush, and I think I've drawn the conclusion here. When you feel like that moment has come, okay, I feel like Lindsay experienced it, Peter experienced it, Al just experienced it. When you're on that edge and you know that discomfort has just appeared, that is your moment where you say, tell me more about what you mean by that. What exactly has happened? And why is that bothering you? What happened that has bothering you so much that you're going to sell this house and move? You didn't just do it on a whim. What happened? And then get them to say exactly what it was, so that if, you know, here's the ed. If we can't tell our own grandmothers exactly what the hell is going on, or we can't explain this to a 5th grader, we don't know enough. Right, Al, did you feel that? Like you felt kind of this, there's resistance there, but there's a discomfort of, oh shit, I'm getting nosy. Did you feel that?
No, actually, I actually felt like Kate, it helped out the conversation. Like it got her to open up and be more invested. So I didn't feel any uncomfortable. How do you say that? You get what I'm saying. But
you didn't feel any discomfort.
Yeah, I didn't feel any discomfort.
Okay,
So there's two things. One, maybe I thought that I reached far enough, and I was like, okay, that's fine. I guess a part of it was, okay, I only have 6 minutes. I have to get on with the conversation because I'm being judged also on, like, you know, things
so
to do
part
with
of the way
clothes. So
part
it was
of the thing. So I feel like there was more to get to. And so one of the ways that I teach people to get to the bottom of it, I say you keep going until you feel like you hit bedrock. And once you feel like you got to the root of the motivation, recap the whole thing. Say, okay, so you're trying to sell because of X, Y, and Z, and that is your biggest concern here. This is the thing you're really pissed off about. Did I get that right? Or is there other stuff going on that is driving this decision? If I've gotten everything, they'll be like, no, you nailed it. That's what's going on. If there's more to it, they'll start telling me. Does that make sense? Okay. So intro I thought was fine. Honestly, like for me, like the intro almost doesn't matter a lot of times. So it didn't really stand out. So at 4, I guess it's fine. I just honestly kind of wasn't paying attention, because usually by the time we get through the intro, like we're rolling into it anyway. Rapport building, kind of like Lindsay. I feel like I think it was 3.5. I think there's more opportunity here. But no, I'll actually push that up to a 4, because I liked how you said the analogy, like, oh, you sound like my grandma. I would have worked on that some more. Uncovering motivation, 3. Overcoming objections, also 3. I'm not really sure we got into any solutions or what we're going to do, did we?
I didn't hear any.
He did suggest that he could help me find my next
He was in the
property.
process of asking that. He was like, if I could, and then he never finished it.
Okay. Unfortunately, that's one of the tough things about doing these competitions, is the time sneaks up on you fast. I had to practice this all the time. So we'll do a 2, and then we really didn't have a follow-up plan, so that'll be 0.
Boom. All right, Jackie C. Hit him with it.
Dang, I just realized that I'm a judge and DQ's a judge and Jeff is a judge. So my responses are gonna be like an elementary school kids, but so be it, man. Whatever.
All right. No,
Um,
hang on. Daniel and I are going to fix this moment right now. Daniel and I do not want you to think that you are like beneath us. We want you to feel like you're bringing your full experience to bear, because as you teach what we've taught you, it's going to level you up more. What would you tell yourself if you were in this position?
Right, and that's how I approach it. And then, but like, I'll give my feedback. It just, you guys hit it on the head while I'm just kind of not, giving the full picture because I don't fully understand it yet. That's
That's
not
just
undermining-
learning.
Yeah.
That's just learning to explain it. That's just learning to be a coach. But anyway, don't underestimate or push yourself down.
Heard you. Appreciate that.
Yeah. The only person that should think he's beneath us is Alon.
Exactly.
Everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know that.
That's refreshing.
So, all right. I'm gonna just get right into it. The intro, I gave him a 5. I do kind of agree with Jeff. As long as it's not terrible, I think if it leads into the conversation, I think he did a great job with that intro, and it led right into the conversation as it should have with this kind of seller. Rapport building, I gave him a 3.5 because I think with this seller, as long as you're not like absurdly rude or you're not an outlier, she's gonna talk to everybody this way. She's a nice old, or we won't say nice, but like she's an older lady, so she's gonna talk to people a certain way. And unless you are abruptly rude, she's not really gonna vary off of that. So I gave it 3.5 because I still think there was more room to build better rapport. I mean, as there always is. Facts finding and uncovering motivation. I actually gave this one a 4.5. Because
What'd you give for? Sorry, bro.
3.5.
All right, sorry. Go ahead.
Similar to the OJ conversation, this was another one where, I mean, maybe because she's old, she'll like slip up and say it, but I don't think she's gonna abruptly just come out and say exactly what it was. So I think you got as close as you could have. And knowing your personality type, you're not one to shy away when there's the elephant in the room. I think it's more of just spotting the actual opportunity of when to dive in is more where you're at, because you don't let emotion get in the way of your phone calls. I've seen you on the phone, man. So which one? Did I give you a number for that?
Overcoming objections? I don't think so.
I gave it 3. This was a very neutral one, and yeah, I didn't really see any objections. Presentation of solutions, I gave a 3 because like he said, you were getting to it, and time just cut you off. And the fat old 0 for strength of close.
You're a fat 0, not even a regular 0, dog. You got a fat one. All right, Al, coming for you a little bit, bro, because I have listened to you on these calls many times. I even heard your last role play. For whatever reason, I noticed that the second this role play started, it was almost like you got in your head or your nerves or something. That was just a feel. I don't know if that's what happened. That's just what it felt like. And you just got trigger shy. It was like you were just waiting to get started the whole time and never actually jumped into the conversation. And the rest of the questions that you asked were just kind of like autopilot questions. You never actually participated. And anything that she was giving you in like, how do you dig in more? How do you like actually dig in and get some rapport and actually establish something? Like we've talked about this a million times. For you, like when we're talking to these sellers, what's our goal? Our goal is to make it to where at the end of that conversation, in their mind, and maybe even coming out of their mouths, is, I don't want to talk to anybody else but you. Like there is nobody else I want to do this. Al, how many times have you heard a seller say that to me? Like in real life, where at the end of the conversation, they're like, you just know they don't want to talk to anybody else. I'm talking to you for 15 minutes and all of a sudden you don't want to talk to anybody else anymore. How do you do that in every single conversation? Well, it's by getting past the surface level BS. It's by getting past all that crap. And I don't know why. It just seemed like you were in your head and you never got there. And so you, no, Daryl will definitely flirt. Daryl, I feel like, I wonder if Daryl's hooked up with a seller at some point by now. I feel like it's possible. I would not be surprised if Daryl has had a lovely evening with a seller. Right, Jeff, you know I'm right. Close. That does not surprise me at all. I've listened to Daryl sliding their DMs. But that's the thing, bro. Like, there was this gap there. And so you stayed, if this is surface level, you were up here. Like, you were above surface level. And it's just like, where's he going? So I didn't like it. Giving you a 4 for intro. I'm giving you a 3 for rapport, and I think that's generous. The reason I'm giving you a 3 for rapport is because you weren't bad. It wasn't a bad rapport. It was a neutral call. You threw out the grandma thing. That's cool, but it was just all surface level. It was nothing real. Fact finding and uncovering motivation. I mean, I guess I'll give you another 3 there. You didn't really dig in. You know what I mean? Like, she was low-key a little racist. She didn't like the fact that there were, colored people in her neighborhood, right? But you just kind of left it at the surface level part. But uncovering that helps to uncover their character, which helps to be able to know where to and how to. No, she didn't. But there was an implication. But yeah, it was just, again, you should have implied for sure. Overcoming objections. I'm gonna give you a neutral on this too, because there wasn't really one. Presentation of solutions. You started going down that road. I don't know why your solution for her is to offer to find her a place to go. That doesn't make sense to me. Like, for me, here's where my head goes in this conversation. If I'm navigating this conversation psychologically, here's where my head goes. And you started down that road, but you didn't stay there. I almost want to redo this role play just to demonstrate how I would go with it. But my conversation would have been like, it's really interesting. Like, you've been here for so long. Like, why do you want to move? But I'm not saying it and moving on. I'm saying that, and I'm staying there until I like her answer. And that's the difference. You asked, but then you moved on. Everybody today has asked, kind of. And then everybody today has moved on without the answer. Well, what the hell is the point of asking? Don't ask. If you're going to ask, get the answer. Well, it was weird and I didn't want to push. Why the hell not? Everybody else isn't pushing either. This is why they've talked to 100 different people and nobody's making progress, because everybody's saying the same thing. Well, I didn't want to push. Why not? Be the one who pushes, but just do it tactfully. Do it with understanding. What's understanding? Well, you got to be able to understand yourself and the BS and the way you communicate, understand the person, and make sure you're bridging that gap appropriately. That's the answer there. That's the magic. And that's a little easier said than done, but it's doable. So yeah, I'm going to say, but when you say that, okay, I get it. All of the other ones have passed away. I mean, is there something here where is there something about the neighborhood where, like, you're not feeling safe anymore? Or is it just the lack of nostalgia and you really want to move on? And I'm getting the answer to that. And then what I'm doing, got a Yorkie attack going over here, y'all. And then what I'm doing is this, Al. What I'm doing is this, is I'm going to take that answer, and that answer becomes the foundation for my offer, for my follow-up, right? And so I'm going to say, okay, so if you're telling me that what's most important to you is getting around a community of people that are more like-minded, right? That's a different solution than I just need to get away from these people that aren't making me feel safe. Like, you understand that psychologically you're solving for it. Even if the house you're buying is the same thing, would you agree or disagree, Al, that I'm solving for a different problem psychologically if her motivation is fear because she's unsafe versus her motivation is the lack of nostalgia because all of her friends have passed away and she just wants to get around different people? Would you agree or disagree that that's different?
Right. Yeah. No, that makes sense.
For me, and here's why I'm telling you why that's different, because fear's a different kind of motivator, right? I'm approaching how I'm presenting my offer differently if she is actively scared of her surroundings. And I don't know that because we didn't dig far enough, right? If she's actually having random scary people in her front yard in the middle of the night, that may be a fear thing that I can use to formulate my offer. And that's a lot different than nostalgia. So that's where I'm digging, and I'm now redirecting the conversation, and I'm saying, okay, if I'm able to solve this for you, what does that solution look like They tell me what that looks like. And now I have an idea of what they need. Is this going to be a cash offer? Is this going to be a creative offer? And so I'm using that information to formulate it. That's how I would approach a situation like this. And it's going to open them up to seeing, and now we're painting a picture. I'm not just telling them a solution. I'm painting a picture of what that solution could look like for their future. And that is a slightly different approach than what you did, because you offered to do something that's really hard to do. What if I find you a place? Have you ever actually tried to find a seller a place?
Yeah, like one time.
How did
Don't do it.
work out? Like I've never ever been glad that I offered that to a seller. Jeff, have you ever
Yeah, no,
offered that
that's-
and then been glad you did it?
The furthest I have gone with I have never gotten to the point of saying, I have found you a place, here you go, move in. The furthest I've had to go is when people are like, I don't know where to go, I don't know what to do. I'm like, let's bring up apartments.com right now. Here's 3 down there. Go check them out. Here's the pricing. Go do it. And that was enough to give them the push because they just didn't know what to do. But no, I've never had success of like, I found you the place. Let's do the deal. It's too much work.
Way too much work. And what happens is unconsciously, especially with an elderly person, they're going to attach the entire offer around your ability to find them another place. And now this got nothing to do with you buying a house anymore. Now this is all about you. And here's the thing. Imagine you go and find them another place and then they want to do the deal with somebody else.
They never like the place you pick out anyway.
So it's just a focus out. I don't know. It just sounded like you was lost, like you was distracted. You were in your head. You were not the real you. So I didn't like it. I hated it. Do better or we won't be friends anymore. That's all I'm saying.
Wow, that escalated quickly.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, bro. Probably the nicest thing you ever told me.
It is the nicest thing I've ever told you, so don't get used to it. I also don't know why these things, I don't know why the numbers aren't numbering here. I don't know what I did. I don't know.
Maybe I deserve a 0. Maybe that's
I think
fine.
this is the Excel universe's way of telling you that you deserve a 0. That being said, all right, 1 in the chat if you enjoyed yourself.
Daniel, Kyle's saying you're not on the correct row. Your blue box is 1 row down from everything
Your
else.
cell is 1 row lower. I don't
My
know.
cell, this one, I don't know. What does cell mean? I don't know what cell means. Some 15, some 19, some 512.1. That's different. Okay. I'm going to have to thank you. Okay, see, Kyle's just shaking his head like, how's this guy so stupid? Kyle just called me stupid with his face. Did you guys see that? That's what that's what that was. Appreciate you, Lindsay. Okay, 1 in the chat if you learned anything, if you had a good time, or anything positive. 2 in the chat if you thought this was stupid. 3 in the chat if you don't really know what else to say. Lindsay, that's fixable. I'm like always here. Let's do that. Let's make that a thing. Okay. Here's that's a good question. 3 in the chat if you're coming back tomorrow. I need to know who's coming back tomorrow. 3 in the chat if you're coming back tomorrow. Daryl just hit me with a 78. See, I miss you, bro. Daryl's always the homie you know you can count on to do absolutely nothing important or valuable to what you're trying to accomplish, but still get your back. All right, perfect. My job tonight is to come up with a way. I'm gonna switch this up. We switching up a little bit over the next couple days. I'm challenging all kinds of different things. You guys, we're gonna be mixing it up. We're gonna do some different stuff. Huge announcement. I think I'm gonna do it Thursday now. Really, really excited about that. There's a lot of dope people in this industry. That's one of the reasons why I love this industry. You get a lot of industries and there's some people you just don't want to be around. You feel dirty after being around it. How many of y'all ever worked in an industry, had a job where you just were like, I just don't like the people in this industry? One thing I love about real estate is it's just amazing people here. Like just really, really good people. It feels like people who actually want to help people find themselves in this industry. That's why I love it. And so if I can help people level up and change the game, and surround myself with people that are doing the same thing, all of the amazing leaders that are in this industry that you guys all know of. You guys know all of the names. Some of them are not in here. Some of them are in here. You guys are some of them, the Jeff Smiths of the world. Like you guys, we're all here to do some really, really cool stuff. And so Daryl is one of those people as well, right? So let's go do some dope stuff. Big announcements coming this week. We're going to be mixing it up. I will be sending out emails. If you guys learned about this through the email, I will also be posting it on my social media if you learned about it from there. If you're not on an email list and you want the email to come to you, shoot me a DM, Daniel.theq or on Instagram or whatever it is on Facebook. I think it's the same thing or something like. Anyways, just shoot me the message and I'll get you a link so you can get on the email thing. And then yeah, we're gonna be doing some cool stuff with that. And then what else? What else? That's it. Guys, bring some deals. If you guys have any deals that you're struggling with, or anything else, please let me know. Let's do some cool stuff. And then that's it. Anybody got any final thoughts, questions, comments before we take off? Anybody? No? Okay. You guys are amazing. I appreciate you guys. Cool things coming this week. It's going to get fun. Tell your friends if they were not here and you know somebody that was supposed to be here, get them on the list, get them in here. Let's do dope stuff. Let's get you guys closing some deals this